Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Another live stream. Here for a 6-hour stream? Come on. Come on. Are you not going to speak about the events in Iran? Well, I mean, we're getting some bad updates from Iran, but I think it's a negotiating tactic mainly. We'll see what happens. There's definitely some stuff in here about Iran and the nuclear deal. We got all these protests happening on the 14th. So the protests happening on Saturday, the military parade on Sunday. Liberals trying to protest the military parade. That's right. The whale came in and gave me a donation. Thank you for the recent live streams. Yeah, no problem. You know, it's either a live stream or a video for me, so either way, you know, recently it's been better with the streams, so there's no real event on Iran. It's all just hoopla. No, absolutely. You're 100% right on that. That's the thing. They just fearmonger you to death about it, and then you just say nothing ever happens. But no, I mean, listen, there are troop movements, I understand, and Trump has said that there's a video in here that I have of Trump saying that he's concerned about there not being a deal, and I mean, Trump has to know it'd be very bad if there was a war with Iran. Let's just say that. Oil prices will spike 2025. It's been amazing for Putin. What, you're talking about the Iran news? Yeah, that's the last thing we need is higher energy prices. It's been nice. U.S. to withdraw diplomats from Iraq amid Iran tensions. State Department said it has decided to shrink the U.S. footprint in Baghdad. Liberals want to have mass protests on Father's Day weekend. Wonder why? All right. Yeah, well. I mean, Trump's parade, I think, is on Father's Day. The military parade, if it's on Sunday. The Doge cuts, yeah, I saw that. Some of the Doge cuts are happening. They would never accept 0% enrichment. I know. But I mean, why not just give them 3% enrichment? That's just like a nuclear plant. You can't come close to creating a nuclear bomb with 3% enrichment. So I don't know, man. But I mean, you know, Tom Cotton saying, oh, they're getting closer to creating a nuclear bomb. Yeah, if they're at 60% enrichment, they're really close. They're weeks away. So I don't know what news he's breaking by saying that. Thoughts on NCAA 26? Your rebuilds are either Georgia Tech or BYU. I mean, I think we'll have to wait and see it depends how immersive the dynasty is, really. You know, they finally got dynamic lighting. I think that's insane. How do you release a game in 2024 or 2025? I guess last year's game was 2024 without dynamic lighting, meaning when you play the game, there's no shadows. It doesn't move. It's ridiculous, like that they would even release a game like that. I don't even know. But I thought 25 was really disappointing NCAA because there was just not a lot. There was not a lot to it. It's a very barren game. PBD went to England to interview Tommy Robinson, where they dick sucked Israel for 2.5 hours. Well, I started watching that. I got about a minute through. I don't know. I got like 30 seconds through it. I just saw the beginning when they were like, we have to go to the. No, he went to the Bahamas, I think they said. That's what that's what I saw. When they were like, we had to go to the Bahamas because he would get arrested if he went to the United States. Tommy Robinson would. What kind of car do you drive? A Chevy. I got to get a new car, dude. My AC doesn't even work. I really should buy a new car. The problem is, dude, you know, I'm trying to get like a decent, like a luxury sedan or something. Even if you get a car with like 10K miles, if you want a decent car, it's like $30,000. The thing is I don't want to invest money into fixing my AC either. Because it's like, if I'm just going to get a new car, I don't want to fucking fix my AC. But I've only ever had one car. I never does, even after my social media and making more money, I never upgraded my car. So I do want to upgrade. I was looking last year. I was looking last year in June to get a new car. Um, but cars are they're just it's just like, dude, I just got hit with a extra tax where it's like $5,400, and now they want me to, I'm doing this thing to where I'm on quarterly, and they're already giving me a quarter two estimate. How do I get a quarter two estimate when June's not even over? They said, here's your quarter two estimate, you need to pay this. I mean, I know I have to pay it eventually, but it's like quarter two estimate, and it's not quarter two is I haven't even gotten my May payment from YouTube because it's the 21st or around the 21st. It's like the third week is when they pay you. It's like the 21st, 22nd, or 23rd, depending on what day of the week. Rumor is Israel about to attack Iran. No, I hear you. I'm gonna go through some stuff. Let's hope it doesn't happen. I mean, we get all these rumors and it happens. So we hope it doesn't happen, because that would affect a lot of stuff. Not even just what the United States does in terms of, you think if they would attack, it would be known that Trump probably supports the attack, which is a big issue. Or they might just do it unprovoked and then think the U.S. will support them no matter what. Israel, that is. We need a college basketball 26 to come out. Yeah, that would be fun, playing March Madness. Having, that big tournament on, you could play as like a lower, just a lower team and be like a 14 seed. I think that'd be pretty fun. You think I am a little too biased for a true news source? Yeah, I mean, but let's be honest. Pretty much everyone is biased. You're either biased right or you're biased left. I mean, look at all the counterparts of me. All these people are biased to the right. I mean, let's just be honest. And then you got all the liberals that say everything Trump does is terrible. I was looking at some of these liberal accounts, these Twitter, or I guess the YouTube accounts, the YouTube channels. These people just say everything Trump does is wrong. I mean, it's pretty insane. Fix your car and keep it, worth the money. What a new air condition? What is a new air conditioning, like a coolant system or something? Honestly, I probably should have, dude. I should have, because my AC, the AC is the first thing to go. It happens like 4 years into. I get a car and it's like 4 years into it, the AC goes. 3 years maybe. The ACs, they're defective systems inside cars. They don't work right. Hopefully Iran won't be the spark for World War III. Yeah, we're gonna go through this because it's important. This is big stuff right here. Seattle Police Department announces they will not cooperate with ICE amid the LA riots. I was watching Destiny debate some woman, and Destiny was like, it's the dumbass. These liberals are so dumb because they're like, well, everything was under control. Trump was the one that escalated it. No, this is the problem. This is okay, guys. Understand, when you've got a state like LA, and especially LA County, or you've got a state like Washington and a city like Seattle. These police, the local police, are instructed not to help ICE. Meaning, if Trump administers a federal raid into an area, because that's where all these people are, all of the illegals, they're in highly densely populated liberal areas. ICE is going to be hung out to dry. ICE is going to be assaulted. The local police is instructed not to help. So the only thing Trump can do, or you can do to help these people is to send in the National Guard, send in Marines, because there's no cooperation. The true issue is there is no liberal cooperation to get illegal immigrants out of the United States. That's why all of this is happening. This is a perfect example. It's a different state, it's a different city, but they're instructed to not cooperate. And especially if they have sanctuary city status, then they really don't cooperate with ICE. So ICE can get assaulted, the police won't do anything, the local police. They're instructed not to do anything. Palantir is more than just AI. It's a violation of our First Amendment right. And should be a deal breaker for every conservative. Yeah, it's bad news. But, I've heard about Palantir and there's always going to be AI and it's I don't know. You'd have to ask Trump. I mean, I'm not part of the administration, so I don't know exactly what's going on with Palantir and what they're going to be doing. But they optimize large swaths of. I mean, they're an AI data conglomerate. All right, that's what they are. And so they optimize large swaths of data and dumb it down into a way you can process it easier. That's what I heard they were. I don't know. That's what I heard. Why is there an ADL in the U.S. when we already have laws on defamation and slandering and libel? Well, unfortunately, a lot of those, like the Southern Poverty Law, a lot of that is just anti-right or Semitism watch, and so they like policing speech that way. Stop kissing Iran's rear end. They don't understand diplomacy. Well, I mean, dude, we're not in the position to do this, dude. We're really not. Why would we care about Iran? It makes the idea, like, if you're gonna tell me Iran's gonna nuke us, man, come on. Like, we should be doing everything in our power to avoid this. You talk about getting a good deal or not getting a good deal. I feel like the deal's right in front of Trump's face. I mean, they were able to enrich under Obama. So how would it really be that of a bad deal for Trump if they're able to enrich under Trump to 3%? Thank you for the donation. Is that Australian dollars? I appreciate that. You got a feeling Israel won't be around in 10 years time due to pressure from both sides of the politics? Well, I mean, it's something that is debated constantly. If we didn't prop up Israel, what would happen to them? They're obviously hated in the Middle East, so yeah, they're trying to normalize relations. That's what the Accords were for with some of the other richer countries like Saudi Arabia and Qatar. But obviously, there's a big anti-Israel sentiment now for sure, and especially if Israel strikes Iran, imagine that it's going to get worse. I mean, worst case scenario between U.S. Iran war. Well, it spirals, and it involves Russia, China, and then a wider spread war. The problem is if we help, I mean, we're already seen as helping Israel no matter what Israel does because we fund them. So it's a problem. To even if Trump is opposed to these strikes, we fund the strikes. I mean, not all of it, but I mean, we've given them a lot of money in terms of military support. Not just the $4 billion. That was the deal under Obama, was $4 billion per year to Israel. Now it's a lot more now because of their war with Hamas. Elon apologizing? Yeah, I know. Elon, yeah, I said Elon would apologize. It's just, and Trump and Elon need each other, so I think they realize it. But Musk was on high on drugs. Didn't the journalist tell Bibi when he was talking about Iran nuking the U.S. to fuck off because of his bullshit? Yeah, that's what Poole said. I remember watching that. Yeah, but who knows really? I think Poole's trying to downplay. I mean, I don't know. I don't think he really gives a fuck. I don't think Netanyahu really gives a shit what journalists say about that. Rand Paul was not invited. He was uninvited to a little picnic. Every other Democrat and every other Republican was invited. He says it's really petty. This is, he's been in opposition to Trump on the spending and the big beautiful bill, and I mean with that, it's Rand Paul and it's Massey, and we understand it's an issue, but at the end of the day, this is how the government works. You need to get things passed. I mean, you could even argue it's going to cut down on the. I mean, you'd think Rand Paul. I mean, I don't know what the problem is. Because now people are starting to say, well, are you against the border security? Because that's a lot of it, is border security in terms of the funding of this bill. Because the thing is it's tax cuts. Do you not want tax cuts? That's the reason they're estimating we're going to be adding to the debt, because we're not making revenue off the taxes. Because there are no taxes anymore. Well, there's going to be taxes, but the taxes are going to be less. So I don't, I guess the military spending, I could understand the military spending, but I don't know what the criticism is exactly in terms of what they're angry about. Then they say, well, there's all these other things. I mean, obviously the bill is massive. How many pages? Like 1,600 pages. But a lot of the stuff is like, it's stardust. $1 million here, $1 million there. The big stuff that's going to produce a projection in terms of raising the debt is the military spending, spending on the border, tax cuts. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, things like that. Although I don't know, I wonder how much revenue we lose from that. I mean, again, you could argue we gain revenue because people have more money to spend, but Grant, thank you for that. Newsom needs to get out of office ASAP. Trump won't stop sending troops until it's under control with these riots. Well, we'll see what happens. I haven't heard anything recently about the riots being too bad, at least the past day and a half. But yeah, I mean, you have to send a message. That's really what it is. You have to send a message. We're not going to deal with this. There's going to be raids that are conducted. There's, I've looked into it, and people say there's more, there's less. It's 17 to 22 million. That's how many illegals. I mean, when you're dealing with around 17 to 20 million illegals, I mean, they're everywhere. So there's going to be raids to get these people. You're going to have to get them in swaths. And they're angry about it. But they're protesting illegals being removed, which is what the American people democratically voted for. So I don't understand what they're mad about. So Trump does have to come out. And again, a lot of this is these local police will not comply because they're given orders from their extremely liberal mayors and their liberal governors, their liberal senators, not to comply with the ICE enforcement. And so ICE gets assaulted, all these things happen, and then they never even find the people that assault ICE. Because this is what liberalism really, the modern liberalism, the modern left, they're always the ones committing these crimes. They blow up January 6th. I mean, you want to talk about, if you take the last 10 years, all of the riots and everything and all the property damage and compare it to what the conservatives have done, it's about 20 times more in terms of overall damage. And then they gaslight and they say, well, the corporations are the ones that have to pay. No, they're just going to take out insurance. It's going to drive up the insurances. It's going to come back on the consumer. So it's really not good. Yeah, we do have a three stream streak. LA riots will only radicalize more white people, net positive. Yeah, but dude, you know what? The thing that I think about with the riots, I mean, nobody knows what's going to happen like this summer. You could say, well, it's just the beginning. But this could be memory hold. I mean, nothing really happened, Yeah, Trump sent in the National Guard, but there's not like a moment. There's not like a crazy moment that happened during I mean, maybe you could say when they started throwing shit at the windshields and stuff, but I feel like if nothing really happens, it might just be memory hold. But I mean, dude, honestly, it's interesting to see, Kirk turn more right wing because of this. It seemed like Kirk was looking for a reason to reposition himself on immigration. And so he's using this as the position, or he's using this, these Mexicans, because this is a very small amount of people. I'm not trying to downplay it because, I mean, the smart Democrats realize this is a terrible look for their party. So they try and sit the fence and say, well, technically you shouldn't be doing that. And we have to keep it peaceful. But like, what are you protesting? You're protesting illegals being removed from the country. That's what you're protesting. You're protesting people that are criminal, who are not here legally, who have broke the law, who take, in a lot of cases, they undercut Americans in terms of the job market. They bring down wages because they'll work for cheaper. Those are the people you're protesting for. I just, it's like, and then it becomes this thing to where, like, LA County, look at the demographics of LA County. Like, that's America. I mean, these people come from all over. Half of them are anchor babies. The other half are just illegals in general. The other half are just immigrants, first generation. And it's like, these people, they don't care about the United States. The reason they're waving the Mexican flag, and they'll wave the Palestine flag and the Palestinian flag, they just don't like the United States, but they want to live in the United States. They want all of our prosperity, everything we've created. I mean, there are just so many people in this country that have such a little understanding for U.S. historic demographics. That's what I tweeted out today because, I really believe that. It's insane. If you talk to some of these people, I mean, the idea that these people would perpetuate that we have white supremacy in the United States. Do you know of another country that's taken in more minority immigrants than the United States ever? It doesn't exist. But then we still get told that we're racist. It's like, come on. Like, this does not happen anywhere else in terms of what's gone on with the immigration system. And this is, by the way, when you look at the demographic, this is just counting the legal immigrants. They say it's 17 to 22 million are illegal. You could say there's more, there's less, whatever. But there's a lot that are obviously illegal. And we can't even deport the illegal ones. We can't even deport with the illegal ones without being called racist. But I mean, obviously, there's going to be a shift in the country if it's this bad to where we're not you allow all these illegals to enter the country, it piles up, and now it's 20 million illegals, and we can't deport them without them throwing a fit and waving flags of other countries in the air. And I haven't seen one Mexican flag get burned. I've seen 100 American flags get burned, not one Mexican flag. It's funny how that works. All right, that'll be enough for now on that. But let me look. I got a few of these. Hold on. Iran has been 2 weeks away from a nuke for months. Well, you have to understand with Iran, if they're at 60% enrichment on their uranium, what that means is if they wanted to, and this is why it's hazy because I don't think they're going to tell, if they wanted to, they could develop a nuclear bomb within a month. So I don't know what they're doing, but if they're actually at, which by the way, it's verified that they are, because they have to send measurements to, like, you know, a nuclear committee or something. So if they're at 60% enrichment, it's about a month away from a nuclear grade weapon. It's not like a crazy nuclear bomb or anything like that. It's like entry level. But the context is that with enrichment of uranium, to get from 0% to like 5% is harder to get from 60% to 90%. It's like it's a multiple. So it's easier to get to 60 to 90. They can do it supposedly in a month. So I mean, I don't know. They're either they're at the level to where they're on the verge of getting one. But someone like Cotton coming out and saying that, the reason I was bewildered because Tom Cotton said, well, they're about to develop a nuclear bomb. Well, yes, if they're at 60% uranium enrichment, that's what that means. They're about a month away. Legal and illegal immigration has killed our wages. Just look at what Indians have done to tech wages. Oh yeah, no, ZR, you're absolutely right, and that's got to be investigated. Honestly, but the H-1B is one of the worst things. It's so terrible. I'd like to really look into the H-1B stuff and just, that's the other thing is they say they hate billionaires. I was talking to someone on X, just some liberal, and I'm like, I can't believe you support these billionaires. Like, how could you support this? And then it's a whataboutism. He just questions. He doesn't actually respond. Why do liberals support all these billionaires? When you're talking about H-1B, that is the most quintessential example of exploitation of labor from a foreign country. It's not necessarily slave work because they're getting paid, but obviously they are exploiting a situation. Billionaires are, and they don't want to pay the natural-born U.S. citizens, and then they call Gen Z and younger people, just in general, not just Gen Z, but just younger people under 30, they say, well, we're ungrateful because we don't want to work for what the H-1B immigrants will work for. And so, I mean, I think that's an issue in and of itself to where, if people are born in a worse situation and people in the United States are born in a better situation, you could say, well, we're privileged, but that doesn't mean we should be undercut. This is just how societies are. The United States, we've been extremely powerful. We're going to progress to a point to where, yes, our baseline is going to be higher than other countries. So we're going to demand higher wages because that's, we are an evolved society. We have a high standard of living. It's the same thing with, just in a general sense. Yeah, what was that point that I wanted to make? Just when it comes to jobs in general, and also even childbirth. I mean, life has gotten easier and easier and easier and easier. So tasks like raising a child, working certain jobs, entry-level jobs, manual labor, construction, all of this is a lot harder for people nowadays. And it's not because, they're more lazy. Well, I mean, I guess technically they're more lazy, but it's because of the evolution of our society. It's really a healthy thing, but we are fighting it. Because it's like, obviously now compared to The 1950s, the 1960s, people are more coddled. This is what happens. I mean, our technology has advanced. People, there's the baseline is a lot higher in terms of what people want and how comfortable people want their lives to be. Is Ben Shapiro Mossad love from Australia? Yeah, Ben Shapiro is definitely Israel first. I mean, he obviously supports Israel and he supports the United States because we help Israel, and he's admitted it. But it's just with him it's really bad. Maybe if we didn't send billions of dollars to Israel, we can actually spend on ICE and law enforcement. Well, now I understand with Israel, it's not even necessarily about the money, just because we have just got such a large amount of budget in general. Because what do we send Israel? You know, I heard it was 20 billion or something. You know, it's about 20 billion a year since their war with Hamas. So it's not necessarily about the money. The problem is the support and what that fosters within the Middle East becomes a big issue because there's going to be animosity. I mean, even just look at 9/11. Now, people can say, you know, 9/11 is an extremely complex topic. I'll just tell you guys, people that say it becomes this mainstream thing that it's Israel, Israel, Israel. Well, there's a number of countries that had involvement in that. But the point is, bin Laden said, I mean, he listed his reasons, and the reasons basically U.S. involvement in helping Israel, why 9/11 happened, and why they wanted to plan attacks. But it's not even just September 11th. Look at the 93 bombing. Look at the Bojanka plot. I mean, this is all comes from U.S. support of Israel within the Middle East and the Middle Eastern countries not liking our involvement. But let's just go through some of this. U.S. ordered all embassies in striking distance of Iran across the Middle East to convene emergency action committees and send cables back to D.C., Washington Post. Tom Cotton believes Iran is actively working towards a nuclear weapon. Yeah, but this is like just fear-mongering that what is the context of this? We already knew that. If they're at 60% enrichment, of course they're working towards a nuclear bomb. You know, but they send these things out to try and fearmonger the general public. That's really what it is. Musk spoke with Trump over the phone on Monday night. Musk says he regrets his post. Well, you know, it is what it is. I knew Musk would do this. He needs to. The problem with the Epstein stuff is it's a bad look for Trump. It's a bad look. Trump, they're gonna have to. Musk is gonna have to come out. Listen, Trump being in the Epstein files, it depends the range of the files, but it's a massive file. If he's talking about, I mean, Trump is in photos with Epstein. Everybody knows that. Trump flew on the plane, not with Epstein and not to the island, but he flew on the plane. So yeah, there's preliminary things that where Trump's involved with Epstein, but you know, when you say that, when you're feuding with someone, there's going to be a problem because now, and also Trump not talking about the Epstein stuff. You know, you think, well, Trump should come out and profusely say, hey, that's obviously false and stuff, and so it's not a great look for the administration when something like that happens with Musk accusing him. I mean, I've said that I don't think it's possible for Trump to have anything with Epstein unless it's so deep with pretty much everyone within the government that it's because if they would have released something on Trump. But the thing is even if everyone was involved, even if all the top Democrats were involved with Epstein, why wouldn't the Democrats just release it on Trump and then destroy everything else? I guess maybe Trump could then expose them. I don't know. I mean, to me, I feel like the Democrats would have released something. Do you like root beer floats? And root beer floats, that's an exotic one. Root beer floats. I just never have them. What is it? Just root beer with vanilla ice cream? The problem with the vanilla ice cream, it always bubbles up like real bad whenever you have one of those. I haven't had one of those in forever. Root beer floats. They lost the popular vote and now they think they're going to do something with a nationwide protest. Yeah, no, I know. Well, the thing is yeah, this is what democracy looks like. It's these raids. This is democracy. This is what people voted for. You know, people vote. That's the other thing. Like the popular vote was just such a huge win for Trump. per Pod Force One. What is that? Pod Force One podcast, Iran? I don't know, and I'm getting more and more less confident about it, and it seems like they're delaying it, and I think that's a shame, but I'm less. Yeah, I know. But the hope is that maybe with this, it's a negotiating tactic to pressure the Iranians. I mean, that's what I would hope. There's no way Trump is incriminated because the Dems would 100% use it against him. Plus his fallout with Epstein, where he banned him from Mar-a-Lago. Yeah, no, I agree with you, but I would like to. There needs to be communication from Trump to dispel this. Being silent on it is only going to make him look worse. I agree 100%, but I'm saying it probably makes sense for him to come out and say, no, I have nothing to do with this. There's no Epstein list, only low IQ idiots that think psychotic criminals wouldn't have destroyed it all. Well, I mean, there could be copies. A lot of people think Israel has it. I don't know. I mean, it's the other thing is the administration has admitted that there's incriminating stuff. Bondi did. I mean, unless Bondi's blatantly lying. Then Patel said there's nothing. I don't know. Bondi said there were videos. Am I drinking Miller Lite? No, I'm not. Dude, I don't really drink alcohol. You have a protest right across from your house scheduled for Saturday. Doesn't surprise me. Have you seen the map? They're all over the place. I thought there was going to be one in my city. No, there's no way. But I was like, there's so many of these. I was looking at the map of it. And yeah, there's a ton of protests that are going to be happening. But I don't know. Hopefully there's no hopefully that stuff's kind of calmed down in LA. We'll have to see though. Yeah, this was Trump. Much less confident with a deal being made with Iran. Something happened to them.
Do you think you're going to be able to stop Iran from enriching its?
I don't know. I did think so, and I'm getting more and more less confident about it. They seem to be delaying, and I think that's a shame. But I'm less confident now than I would have been a couple of months ago. Something happened to them, but I am much less confident of a deal being made. I would have said a deal would be made.
Something happened to them?
No, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe
like China talked them out of it?
I have instincts about things.
You think China talked them out of it?
No, I don't think China has anything to do with it. I just think maybe they don't want to make a deal. What can I say? And maybe they do.
So what does that mean?
There's nothing final.
What happens then?
Well, if they don't make a deal, they're not going to have a nuclear weapon.
Right.
If they do make a deal, they're not going to have a nuclear weapon too. But they're not going to have a nuclear weapon, so it's not going to.
But she needs to ask, what about enrichment to 3%?
Matter from that standpoint, but it would be nicer to do it without warfare, without people dying.
Yeah.
It's so much nicer to do it. But I don't think I see the same level of enthusiasm for them to make a deal. I think they would make a mistake, but we'll see. I guess time will tell.
What about the report that it came out that the administration was willing to allow 3% enrichment, and then he denied it? But they're not going to ask him that. Did you see the results of the New Jersey gubernatorial primary last night? Leading Republican did very well. Yeah, the Trump endorsed candidate there. They're trying to win that governorship in New Jersey. There's a lot of there's a growing base there in New Jersey. I know Pressler has been in New Jersey, and they're trying to really turn up the heat. Maybe, I mean, could you imagine that? I mean, it's possible with the governorships. We know what happened with Virginia with Youngkin. I mean, but you'd love to see New Jersey become more into play. A lot of people were surprised with how close it was. They're saying it's going to pop off this Saturday in Houston. You're seeing a lot of black helicopters in the sky. The hope is that whenever they do this and they say, oh, it's going to be this crazy protest, normally it kind of fizzles, and whenever they say these nationwide protests, hopefully nothing really. I mean, it's crazy that they're protesting the removal of illegal immigrants. It's insane. Why are people concerned with Iran getting a nuke? Well, the less amount of countries that have nuclear capability, the better. That's the ideal. And also with Iran and just obviously the Trump administration, how pro-Israel they are, there's going to be a lot of people within the administration that are heavily against Iran having a nuclear weapon. But listen, we can do a deal with them to where they can only enrich to 3%. That was the Obama deal, right? So I don't know. And there's been reports the administration is open to it, and then they denied it. But, you know, this could be a negotiating tactic from Trump. I mean, I'm sure all of this is shooting up. Israel military action against Iran before July, 33%. Whoa. Yeah, I mean, it was going to shoot up, but we'll have to see. How old is that woman? I have no clue. How old is that bitch? Chris Christie. Chris Christie right here. It's Chris Christie. Nobody loves Mexico more than people that don't want to live there. Absolutely. Like, let's understand really what it is the whole thing to where it's like they're you know, they're telling on themselves when they do it, but when they wave that Mexican flag, they should have just said it's a heritage thing. But either way, it's dumb. But like, really, I think what it is, it's like heritage, and we have, you know, this is where we came from, and we're Mexican. But obviously, it's going to come off as terrible. But then they dug into it, and they said, well, no, it's because Mexico controlled California for 27 years in like the early 1800s, in the early like 1700s. I mean, it's they controlled it in like 1820. Do you think the people are brainwashed into thinking that deporting illegals is illegal? On blue sky, propagandists are spreading total BS, but people look elsewhere or don't look elsewhere. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of stuff with the liberal propaganda. I don't know what they think exactly. You know, I try and hear their arguments, and the one argument that they would use was, well, it's not due process, which it doesn't apply to illegals. There's ways to you can legally deport illegal immigrants without court dates. I mean, that's been done. It was done under Obama. He had the record number in terms of the deportees without the court dates, over 300K. So this can all be done, and I think Trump's only deported around 150K, but then they say there's been about 700K self-deportations, and now they're trying to ramp up the physical deportations, where, again, there's only like 150K they've done. But the administration claims there's been a lot more self-deportations. There's some protests going to be happening on June 15th. I thought it was the 4th. Well, yeah, the 15th is the military parade. So they're protesting the military parade. I don't know where they're going to do that. You're not going to protest the military parade in D.C. and have any success. The military parade is too big. There's tanks. What are you going to do? Stop the tanks? I mean, the military parade is going to happen. This is a big thing that Trump wants for the anniversary and his birthday, and so they try and say, "Oh, it's fashion." I mean, this is a nationalist. This is patriotism, and you see the United States and where we're at right now, and obviously there's a lot of people that don't like the country, so they're not going to like a patriotic parade. I mean, it's not surprising. If they really cared about Mexico owning land back in the day, another revolution type of event would have happened in the 1900s. Oh, yeah, it's all revisionist bullshit. They had no explanation for them waving Mexican flags, trying to not be deported to Mexico, so they said this was our land previously. Number one, what does that matter? So it was your land previously, so is there going to be a land invasion? So how are you going to do that? Because it's not your land now. Like, Crimea is Russia's. I mean, this is what it is. I'm sorry. This is not the kiddie table to where it's just oh, they can't have it. Well, they took it. You want to take it back? Go try and take it back from them. I mean, what do you want us to do? But I mean, that's next level because they controlled it for 27 years. We've had it at this point for like 200 or a little bit under 200 years, and New Spain had it for way longer as well. Which obviously they were colonists. Lotus flower, that's not that's no, that'll never happen. Look at their population, it's stagnant. That would never happen. Illegal immigrants came into the country illegally under Biden without due process, so they can be deported without due process. Illegals don't have the same rights as citizens, right? Well, I mean, I don't even know what the due process would be in entering a country illegally. There is no jurisdiction or anything. They just enter, and then so it's unfortunate. But there, you know what? We could really explain this in a simple form to where it's like, you know, these people hurt our society more than they help it. Even when they try and argue, they're like, yeah, technically it's not right, they're illegal, but they help us because they do all the dirty jobs and they contribute. And I mean, they contribute extremely low amounts. They say, oh, they pay taxes, and you look at it and it's like, you know, there's definitely avenues to argue against illegal, but even on just an economic level as well, even economically, because we can sit here and we can talk about culturally, which is, you know, obviously so much more important, but most of these people don't care. Their culture is globalism. All the liberal culture is globalism. If they're okay with admitting this many people in the United States, how can you think anything else if you're taking these people from all over different countries, and most of them are not in great situations in terms of, most of them are poor. And it's like, well, you're going to put them all in the United States. Now you're going to get some cesspool like LA. None of these people like the United States. They don't like it. So, I mean, what are we supposed to do at this point? We can't even deport. We can't even rule in our own country. I mean, you got Trump. The Democrats say, do not help Trump. Do not help ICE. They're racist. That's why Trump had to bring in the National Guard in the first place. I don't know how you can argue that. That's what you should argue that against the Destiny's like, oh, it's not just like the same fucking bullshit talking points. Oh, Trump shouldn't do that because he escalated it. Well, no. Do you understand that the ICE SUVs were being hit as they were moving with rocks, where they were trying to shatter the windshield with rocks, and they're instructed not to help because it's a sanctuary city? You know, the local police doesn't help. You realize that. So what do you think happens? They try and do more raids. You think they get harassed by the people? You think any of those people are going to jail without federal law enforcement helping ICE? Seriously? We're not dealing with it with these Democrat governors, these Democrat mayors. Karen Bass is law and order. She's going to come to the rescue and arrest all the people assaulting ICE. Yeah, sure. Now notice how they changed their tune when Trump brings in the National Guard. Now she's like, she wants to act all nice and say, no, don't do anything. When there's no National Guard, it's fuck ICE. They're all racist. Yeah. Doing a great job. I appreciate it, William. You like Trump, but you're not happy about the job market for SWEs who are U.S. citizens. You heard that artists have less unemployment than SWEs. Both have AI as a threat, but only tech has H-1B visas. It's very hard in the tech industry. You're just going to be undercut. But I'd have to look at the numbers to know the exact stuff on the H-1Bs, but I know it's really bad because a lot of the H-1Bs, it's like entry-level stuff. It's grunt work. They say it's high-skilled labor. It's insane. I mean, how many H-1Bs get like grunt work coding jobs, and it's like $60K per year? Leave America if you're not happy in America. See, that's the problem. They think they're entitled to our economic zone. We've created this. And then the other thing is they lie. They blatantly lie when they say, you know, the United States was a melting pot. You know, I want to save this and do a video on this, but we were a melting pot of people from Britain, Ireland, Germany, Sweden, Norway. We were a melting pot of people from that were Caucasian from Western Europe. That's our immigration. Do you think of somebody like me as an immigrant into the United States now? So see how they try and use the term immigrant like we were all immigrants? It's all a bunch of white people from Western Europe. That's who started the United States. That's what the United States was until 1960. And so they try and like it's just such a false characteristic of the whole melting pot charade. Just a complete, it's just not correct in the way that they're assigning it. Because they're saying, well, technically they're all immigrants because they come from different countries, like how America was founded. But it's not the same immigrants. I mean, but the thing is you have to be able to segment it and argue it properly. It's breaking that the U.S. is on high alert for potential Israel strike on Iran. Yeah, well, this is a big problem. I mean, I don't know what to listen. We'll see how Trump reacts to this, but the issue is we're guilt by association with Israel because we fund them. So listen, unless Trump immediately comes out against an Israeli aggression against Iran, it's gonna be seen as the administration approves it. So Trump needs to come out against. I mean, look, we'll see. You could argue that this is done to try and pressure Iran into a deal. Because why else would Trump publicize this? You know, why else would you say, well, we're much less confident? This has to be a pressure tactic. They're going into 6th round of negotiations. Their 6th round. So it's like, you hope this is a pressure tactic to get Iran to agree to a deal. I mean, how many rounds of negotiations can you have? It's like the writing is on the wall. There's going to have to be the dam is going to break. The Democrats, leftists are literally running to elect for U.S. president in 2028 so we can end ICE, bring back illegals, unvetted immigrants. Well, they can't run on that. They cannot run on ending ICE. It's not popular. It's the same thing with defund the police. It's a very small segment of leftists that like that stuff. But the smart Democrats will not support that. They just won't. The smart Democrats say, we support protests, but if you get violent, it's bad, and we need the rule of law. You know, that's why many of them had to turn because of how bad they were getting crushed on immigration to say, we had a bipartisan deal. They had that bipartisan bill, and then they said, well, Trump killed it. The problem with that deal was it granted all of the illegals that were already in the country amnesty. So that's insane. I actually have to go back and see if that's actually true, because if it is true, it's insane, because I heard about that. Their big deal was, I mean, that would be 20 million illegals granted amnesty. And they said that was a good border bill. That was going to help. And even in that bill, there was money that was going to go to Israel and Ukraine. I mean, if you look into that bill that they talked about, you know, the one that they said, well, Trump shut it down because he wanted the border to be bad. Well, no, the border was immediately bad when you rolled back all of the Trump, remain in Mexico, all of the Trump policies that were for the majority of the Trump administration, his first term, they were able to quell bad immigration. But I mean, there was nothing like we've seen in terms of the immigration, under Biden. Nothing. It's insane. Pack up and leave America, grifters. Thank you, William. I appreciate that. My wife and I are listening to your live stream, and she told me to tell chat that liberals are protesting on Saturday in D.C. will try to recreate Tiananmen Square massacre in the U.S. to start a civil war. Well, you know what? They're having all those tanks. They're bringing all those tanks during the military parade. I mean, obviously, we hope nothing like that happens, but yeah, they really want to disrupt this administration, and who knows? It's hard to predict what they're gonna do, but it just takes one idiot to do something, and I mean that's the same thing with these LA riots. Nothing has happened. You could say, well, rocks have been thrown and stuff, and certainly I'm saying nothing like in terms of, okay, this is national. This is, well, it already is national, but just a singular thing happening, like somebody dying, and then that's the catalyst to things happening and going haywire in the country. U.S. intelligence officials are afraid that Israel will strike Iran without U.S. consent now that negotiations have effectively failed. Man, if they strike Iran, Trump would have to, the administration would have to come out immediately against it. But I mean, you already fund them. What do you mean? It's like, Trump says we made a great deal with China. We're rocking on deals. We made a great deal with China. We're very happy with it. Yeah, so they listen, we'll see what happens with that deal with China. There's not a lot of information, but Trump was insinuating that the tariff was going to go back up to 50% on China. I don't know if that's for select sectors. I don't know if that's just the overall hard tariff in general, 50%. It's going to be a sticky tariff, I think, because if that's it for negotiations. Hatred for Trump is going to destroy the left. If Biden called in the National Guard and Marines to LA, liberals would have praised him to the moon and back. Yeah, but I mean, what would be the reason? Would he really call it in? Would they even have raids? They wouldn't even have raids for this. Guys, what is the event called that they're having on Saturday? Kings or something? No Kings? Is that what it is? Can you pull up the planned riot map? Yeah, I'm trying to know what is it. I'll pull it up. No Kings protest. Yeah, but you never know with this stuff. I mean, can we get a zoom in here? Like, dude. They have protests in South Dakota, Wyoming, Montana. This is the protest map. Well, this is like, how big are the protests going to be? They're probably all going to be very small if they're spread out this far. How would the situation have panned out if Kamala won the election? Well, I mean, obviously there wouldn't be these deportations. Although the illegals would have been given amnesty. They said they were going to do that. They were going to get, that was their bill. They were going to give the illegals amnesty. America needs a dictator. Well, it's not possible under their current system. With checks and balances, Trump doesn't have the. Listen, I want Trump to have more authority, but it's just he can only do so much. I mean, you do have a decent amount in terms of stretching executive power, but with checks and balances, it's tough. Half the country is covered in that map. Yeah, but I mean, the dots are really big. I don't know, man. We'll see what this is. You know, when they do these protests, no Kings protests against Donald Trump and his policies set to take place across the country on June 14th, the president's birthday. I'm trying to expand it. It's not working. Alaska. Oh, man. Alaska. Why don't they just take all these people and send them to DC? Wouldn't, dude, you like, wouldn't it be more valuable if they took, well, I guess most of these people wouldn't be able to, you know, buy a plane ticket or whatever, but just send them all to DC and have like 1 million people in DC? Here's a fun fact. India is seen as the most racist country in the world, and the U.S. is one of the least racist. Libs are oh yeah, and that's such an easy argument you can use when it comes to the West versus the East in terms of our so-called racism that liberals talk about. Go talk to an Eastern country about racism. You heard the Alaska protests are going crazy? It's like it's dogs. It's like huskies going out and protesting. There's not going to be anyone protesting. No, I mean I like Alaska. It's a beautiful state. It's a big state, Alaska. It's a big state, just obviously very low population density. There's one in your city. Well, all funded and planned by George Soros. Well, they're definitely. I mean, they said it was a liberal NGOs, and they're obviously all funded. I mean, you're not going to have a wide scale event like this with this much coordination without it being funded. Trump gold card. Are they back on the gold card? They're talking about the gold card. The Trump gold card. Wyoming protests will collapse the United States. There's like five. Somehow there's five, it says. Flagstaff, Arizona, college down. Yeah, I've heard of Flagstaff. Flagstaff, I think, is a pretty. They get interesting weather. They get snow in Flagstaff. Michael Atkins, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Eastern, yeah, I mean, I agree, but isn't that part of the reason why? Part of the reason is because of how racist they are, so they don't have. There's not a lot of immigration. So it's like the effect is that they're all the same race. Do you think they'll roll the dice and actually try a civil war? Well, with this, I don't think so, man. I don't think so. I mean, this we'll see what happens with this Iran situation. It's just not great. This is bad news, but you hope it's just negotiation leverage, no negotiation tactics. This was today?
Could you provide an update on Iran? We're hearing reports that U.S. personnel are being moved out of the region within striking distance.
Well, they are being moved out because it could be a dangerous place, and we'll see what happens. But they are being, we've given notice to move out, and we'll see what happens.
Is there anything that can be done to dial the temperature down in the region?
They can't have a nuclear weapon. Very simple. They can't have a nuclear weapon. We're not going to allow that.
I mean, that's not the question. They're obviously not. You're not going to give them but if they can get 3% enrichment, that's obviously not a nuclear weapon. I mean, it just depends. They need to ask about the enrichment because the administration said that they were going to give 3% enrichment. Well, they didn't say that. It was rumored, and then they denied it. But the real question to ask is, would you allow enrichment if they want 3% enrichment? You know, obviously Trump is going to say nuclear weapon is 90% enrichment, so they're not going to get to 90%. You're not going to do a deal that. I mean, look at the deal Obama did with them. So, look, I think this is a pressure tactic to get Iran to agree to a deal. Hopefully, that's what it is. Eric, he's got some stuff. GM plans to invest $4 billion into the United States, move additional production out of Mexico. This is going to be really good. These auto tariffs, I think, are going to be very good for the U.S. $5 million. The Trump gold card is coming. Thousands have been calling and asking how they can sign up to ride a beautiful road and gaining access to the greatest country and market anywhere in the world. It's called the United States. The waiting list is open. Trumpcard.gov. Trump card about to be released for $5 million per person. Streamline an easier pathway to residency. Trump is, he's trying to help. This is helping the debt. You're going to get hurt in the protests. There will be this much. What are you talking about? Carboy. You're going to get hurt in the protests? I mean, just hopefully the protests are not violent. Go ahead and sign up. I'm not eligible. You're coping hard. What, on the Iran news? No, it's you talk to the seasoned negotiators and the experts. They say it's negotiation tactic to force Iran into a deal. I mean, you think Trump has had 5 talks with Iran for nothing? You don't think Trump knows what's happening here? Come on. The card design goes hard. Well, Trump's a marketer, man. He's a marketing genius. What do you think? Stay away from big cities this weekend. It's going to be a chaotic mess. No, I agree. It's both Saturday and Sunday because Sunday's the military parade in D.C. Saturday, it's their big event, supposedly. Their big riots across the big cities. And yeah, what a mess this is, man. This is what I mean... This is what happens when you have a lot of people that don't like the country. Can you define what crossing?
Can you define what is like crossing line for those who they don't know, like what is the crossing line in protests?
That leads to FAFO? Violating the law. You break the law, you cross the line, you will be arrested. I was a little bit clearer about this last night in my post last night, and that is there is freedom of speech. However, if in your protest you damage somebody's property or you harm an individual, that's violating the law, and you will be arrested for it.
Last question.
It's been reported that some actors may be boycotting.
I couldn't care less, honestly. All I do is run the country well. The economic numbers, you saw them today, they're setting records. We took $88 billion in tariffs in 2 months, far beyond what anybody expected. There's no inflation. People are happy. People are wealthy. The country is getting back to strength again. That's what I care about. And we're going to have a safe country. We're not going to have what would have happened in Los Angeles. Remember, if I wasn't there, if I didn't act quickly on that, Los Angeles would be burning to the ground right now. Thank you.
It's been reported that.
Yeah, this woman needs to be deported. Ilhan Omar's daughter applauds anti-ICE riots, urges death to colonial empire. U.S. and Israel, one oppressor. I mean, the people, I mean, they do not like our founding. They don't like it. Why are these people in the United States? Why do we let them in? Like, they don't like our country. They don't like the majority population being white. What's the point of them being in the country? Get out of our country. It's like if 10K people snuck into an NFL game, the owner letting them stay doesn't fix the problem. Not enough seats in the stadium, and they didn't go through security. Many risks, common sense. No, I appreciate that $10 donation. You're absolutely right. I mean, but we know this. This is like, obviously, illegals into the country is bad for the country. There's a reason that you have to come in through a vetting process, and yet you get citizenship. They just get, Democrats get benefited from it in terms of the electoral, college and all that. So that they have to say, oh no, this is good. And then a lot of them become legal. And then with the ones that become legal, they were trying to mainstream a lot of these immigrants to become legal. That's why, the administration, it's not even just the illegal immigrants. Think about the amount that got, asylum claims. Those are the ones that really run up the tax burden on us because they get actual benefits.
U.S. dependents of military personnel being authorized to leave the Middle East? I'll have to say thank you.
Yeah, Trump's coming out with a negotiating tactic. Illegals have taken low-income housing as well. That's why rent has increased so much. Yeah, housing is just out of control, and a lot of it is the illegals. You know, we also have really bad zoning in the United States, I guess, from what I heard, and that's another problem with residential zoning. It drives up the prices. We also have a problem in terms of the. Originally, I thought it was. I don't know. It's hard because I hear people say, "Well, there's not enough homes," and people say there's too many homes, and they're not sitting on the markets. I don't know. I mean, obviously, you'd think there would be a problem in terms of there's not enough supply if the prices of houses are where they're at right now. I mean, they're ridiculously high in all over the major cities. But housing is generally dependent on the area. I mean, there's different housing markets depending on how an area is doing. I mean, there's places in Texas and Florida that you can get stuff for cheap relative to what you would expect. The goal of the left is to have a socialist Marxist revolution, like what happened in Russia. Well, that would be the far left. I don't really think they have they don't have the amount of people to be able to do that. There's no way there's enough people. Can you buy a gold card even if you're already a citizen just as a showcase? What, like a rich person buys it just as like a donation to Trump for 5 million? Yeah, he'd probably let you do that. Did you see the crazy socialist in New York surging in the polls because of AOC? Yeah, I think it's even before that. I know who you're talking about. Zoran. And yeah, we'll see. I mean, he comes out and he says, I'm a socialist. You know, if he wins, I'm guessing New York would probably swing more right. So maybe it'd be better if he won, but it's him against Cuomo. Gold card should be 50 million. Yeah, but then nobody would be able to purchase it. But I mean, the gold card is like, it just depends. Like if you're given foreigners access to, like, I don't even know exactly what it does, but presumably only rich people would buy it, obviously, if it's $5 million. If you got $5 million of disposable income. Huh. Yeah, the zombies upload, that was a good, it was a good game. You'll have to see it. I'm trying to play some Ascension, honestly. I want to play some Ascension with people. Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys just passed away. I never watched that, but rest in peace to him. You can buy a gold card souvenir on Trump's website. Zoran is like the Dems Vivek, but broken. Yeah, I mean, I guess if honestly, if you could come out and he says, yeah, I'm a socialist. He says, yes, I'm a socialist. Yes, socialism is a gateway to communism. Yes, I want it to be communism, and he's, you know, so they're all communists, but they have to say they're socialist to dress it up. But it's just a gateway. Do you think the ICE protests will create a BLM 2.0? No, that's not how it would work. And plus, there'd have to be an event that happens that triggers, like, the BLM stuff was all racial. I mean, I guess you could say this is racial as well, but this is a different tone to it with these deportations. With Mexicans, it's different. The DG2 channel would get 1 million subscribers if you released another car vlog. Yeah, and then it passes by main channel. That would be nice if it did. I don't think that would happen. Thorium reactor solve the Iran nuke crisis. Non-weapon fuel, safe power for planes, weeks in air or to space. Well, I mean, I'm not even sure it's about the reactors. The issue is the enrichment level. This is what I don't understand. Why not just allow them to enrich to 2.5%, 3.5%, whatever the number is? for nuclear energy. You're not coming close to creating a nuclear bomb with 3% enrichment of uranium. So that's what I don't get. I mean, to me, it seems like an easy win for Trump. But it's like, in general, do we really want to commit to something like this? Especially with where we're at right now. We have low energy prices. If there's a war that breaks out in the Middle East, how does this affect the energy? You know, we've definitely been fortunate since Trump's come in with the energy prices. And we know that the core inflation, they take energy out. But we still like that the energy is low and the gas is low, and it's going to help the approval rating. You're talking about disrupting a lot of stuff here. Do you understand the new XP we earn on your streams just showed up one day? Yeah, I stopped streaming for a little while, and then it randomly showed up, so I don't know what it is. I think it just shows the top people that... Originally, I thought it was the most active people. Actually, I do think it's the most active people if Dean Wade is number one. I think it's the most active people. I don't know. But then it's got like... But I don't know what you win. You win like a lollipop or something. You win like a... You don't even win anything. So I don't know. I don't know exactly, man. I don't know why it's here. I didn't ask for it. YouTube added it as a trial feature. They're probably going to remove it. YouTube sometimes does this, I guess. But it's a useless feature. Can't believe people still think protesting works. It's more like virtue signaling. It's more virtue signaling. I mean, but protesting against an administration that just won all the swing states in the popular vote. I mean, what are you protesting against? You're protesting against democracy and the majority. Okay? Have fun with your protest. Will you make more Canada videos? I mean, yeah, maybe I'll make one if there's... I mean, there's not a lot of news. I mean... I'd have to look it up and see if there's news on it. Do we win Alberta's resources if we finish on the XP rankings? Yeah, you'll get like a few rare earth. You'll get like a rare earth mineral. You get a singular mineral from Greenland. Says the top 3 get special badges. Yeah, but I don't even think there's a carryover on the badges. It's not like they carry over to the next stream to where you have these exclusive badges. Will Shohei's #1 start at pitching be for the Dodgers? Will it be the most watched MLB single game ever? No. I mean, especially if it's regular season, no, it's not going to be. Yeah, I don't know. I thought they were going to have him come out of the bullpen, but we'll see. Hamas accused of deadly attack on aid workers, bus carrying Palestinian staff from the U.S., and Israel-backed Gaza Humanitarian Foundation was reportedly ambushed by Hamas militant. What's your take on Trump wanting to give a 1-year jail for burning the American flag? Yeah, I mean, I understand it. It's hard to see that. It's hard to see that, but it's one of those things to where it's like, to me, I think it's horribly disrespectful, and it fosters a bad environment in the United States when you have people burning the American flag. But maybe at least do some type of heavy fine or something. you got to meet them in the middle with something like that. Because 1 year in jail, you start talking about, well, freedom of expression and all this. And if it's their own American flag, you know, I was more hardcore with it, where I would agree, but it is a bit more complicated. But I think, I mean, it is the American flag, so there has to be some form of punishment. Are you worried about the potential damage this weekend? Yeah, I mean, if there's that many protests, you never know. It's hard to really say, well, these are going to be the bad ones. It's probably the ones in the big cities. I mean, they're already supposedly having protests in other cities. DNC just voted 294 to 99 to undo David Hogg's vice chair victory because of diversity. Dude, that's crazy. I mean, I don't know if it's actually because of the diversity rules. Did they just say, you're a white dude, you can't have this position? That's what, I mean, imagine. No, they said like he was spending money in the wrong places and he took a bunch of, I don't know what it was, but they're like, you're a white dude, we're just going to vote you out because you're a white dude. I mean, like, diversity rules? Come on. You see NYPD body some of the rioters. They're way more serious than California. And most PDs, even in 2020, there was way less property damage in NYC. Yeah, no, and well, Adams is a hard ass. So it would make sense they'd be more on top of it. Texas National Guard has arrived ahead of the No Kings protests. In what city in Texas? Houston? Slippery slope wanting imprisonment for burning U.S. flag. Just like a slippery slope for arresting people in public for wearing a mask, hoodie, and sunglasses. Yeah, no, you're right. They are slippery slopes. But I mean, at a certain... There are certain things, but... You can understand why Trump would want to do some of these things. He was given literally, he was literally spending millions of dollars to primary Dems he thought weren't woke enough. He literally wanted to put progressives against generic. I know. Yeah, I heard about that. You know, they need generic, just normal liberals because you're gonna. They have a good chance to flip the house. So you bring in some far left people, it becomes easier for the conservatives to win. Where were the riots when Barry Obama deported people? Right, they didn't exist, and he deported a lot more people, and there's no court dates for a lot of those people. Thoughts on Mike Huckabee giving a speech in Israel saying that an independent state in Palestine is no longer U.S. policy. Yeah, well, isn't he the ambassador to Israel, Huckabee? But I mean, it's, you know, it's. I'd like to see the involvement with Israel, you know, to a minimum, but the administration is there's too many Zionists. They're all Zionists within the administration. If you use slippery slope as part of your argument, then you have no argument. Yeah, but I mean, look at what happened with legalizing gay marriage. Didn't they say that was a slippery slope? They were right. Do you believe the 2021 Andrew Cuomo allegations were bullshit, Me Too garbage? I don't know. I mean, Cuomo, I don't even care who wins that race, but I guess Cuomo would be better. You can't imagine Vicente punching anyone. Yeah, I know. But it's a good story. Dude, Bannon seems like he would get that right, honestly. It seems like Bannon would get something like that right. And didn't they like kind of confirm that there was a confrontation? Somebody within the administration confirmed there was a confrontation. Like, it's been confirmed. We just don't know if he punched him necessarily. But I mean, how do you get a black eye? You don't get a black eye from allowing your son to hit you in the face. I mean, come on.
Ma'am, that's incorrect.
Excuse me. Let me get something straight with you first here. I've seen you interrupt everyone. When you come to someone's house, you respect their rules. And in this house, we don't interrupt individuals. And you're not going to interrupt my time.
What a condescending bitch.
Going to give you time to respond. You may want to jot down some notes about things that you don't agree with me on so that you can respond to them at that time. But while I'm speaking, as the person holding this time, you will refrain from speaking, sir, until I am done. Until I am done, and then I will give you time to speak, okay?
Look forward to the facts.
Thank you.
Ma'am, that's incorrect.
Excuse me. Let me.
I mean, what did she even say? I mean, where do they get these people from? These are just completely unqualified people for political office. I'm sorry.
In fact, we've already seen that prices are rising on many everyday goods.
No, Congresswoman,
please don't interrupt me.
We had
the time is mine. The time is mine. Please don't interrupt me. I will ask you questions and I will grant you an opportunity to answer them, but please don't interrupt me during my time.
With pleasure.
Okay, I know I'm a woman, but please try to limit yourself to answering my questions. No, I'm sorry, but we get talked over all the time, and I don't want that to happen at this hearing.
Wow, you're a powerful woman. Holy shit. It's like they have more victim mentality. They have to tell everyone they're, oh, I'm a female in politics. Bitch, nobody cares. Trump signs an executive order to create a pilot program for testing flying cars. Implying men never get talked over. It's just victim mentality. That's all it is. House votes to move forward with the first round of Doge cuts, $9.3 billion in cuts. Any word on Nashville getting an MLB team? I haven't seen anything on that. I feel like it's probably years away at this point. Well, I don't know. I mean, they could get a relocation team. There's going to have to be something that happens to the Rays. So the Rays are probably going to be relocating. All right, I'll be right back, guys. I got to go to the bathroom, but I'll play this.
As I watch the actions taken by federal law enforcement in California and along the West Coast, I am reminded of why I became a police officer. It is my job to support the rights of our community. Let me be clear. The Seattle Police Department does not engage in immigration enforcement activities. We do not inquire into or collect information about an individual's immigration or citizenship status unless it is directly connected to a state or local criminal investigation. This is, of course, the sole responsibility of the federal government. My responsibility is the safety and security of the people of Seattle. We adhere to Washington state law, which limits our involvement with federal immigration authorities for enforcement purposes. Here in Seattle, no one should be afraid of contacting local law enforcement to report a crime, ask for help, or cooperate with an investigation. Our officers are here to serve everyone regardless of their immigration status.
Bro, I was just in my room and it's so much colder in my room. I was gonna stream from my room just because the way the sun comes down, but I couldn't do it because it was like I couldn't adjust to it. But it's so much colder in my room. Trump should just ignore the judge like Biden and ignore the Supreme Court regarding student loans. There was a ruling on student loans? What was the ruling? Oh, you're talking about Biden ignoring the student loan stuff. Yeah, but Trump already does try and ignore some of the judges. But yeah, I agree with you. Turn off the AC. No, I like when it's really cold. I like when it's like 65 degrees. If it's 65 degrees, I like it, dude. I can put covers on and it's way better. You want to be cold, that's the thing. It's like when it's 20 degrees out and you can sleep, I mean, that's nice. It's really nice. But the thing is, nowadays, it's just going to be hot. You left that video. Do you hate us? Yeah, I don't know. Some lib dude talking about how they're not going to help the ICE agents during the raids. Turn those lights off. They're too bright. They're too bright. Student loans is predatory lending, class action lawsuit, the government and schools for fraudulent kickback scheme that turns citizens into... Well, I mean, dude, at the end of the day, do you agree to the loan? You probably have a bunch of student debt. No, I think it's bad. I do, but it's like you're forcing taxpayers to fund. See, this is the problem with student loans. This is the most obvious thing ever. These kids, they brag. They say, well, because they've got a degree and I don't have a degree, they make more money than me. So then, if you make more money than me, why do I have to pay for your degree? Shouldn't you be able to pay for your own degree if you make all this money? They say, well, you should go to college because you make more money. That's fine. On average, you make more money if you go to college. So then why don't you pay so you can't pay for your student loans, really? I thought you made more money. So see the issue. They're the ones that get the degree. They think it's this big thing. Now they have this asset. Because a degree is just an asset. It lets you endorse and it lets you get certain jobs. But then they want people without degrees to pay for the people that get degrees when they're the ones that get an advantage by getting degrees. Come on. The degree in itself it's an investment. So you're investing to get a better job. You would hate Houston? Oh, dude. Texas is just it's a pressure cooker, bro. It's insanely hot. But yeah, I could not live in Houston. You have air conditioning, you can do it, but today it was pretty hot here. It was like 82 degrees. You never went to school, so are you against bailouts, Ukraine and Israel? Because taxes have been drained from America for years. Why wouldn't you help out the next generation instead of Israel? Well, I don't care they fund Israel. I would prefer they not fund Israel. But you're bringing Israel into it. I don't even like Israel. I'm not Jewish. What is, it's like, and then I understand the biblical argument of it, but look, we're not, you want to bail out. I mean, you have to understand these kids, they get degrees, so supposedly they're supposed to get better jobs, but then they want us to pay for their degrees. Come on. You're not even arguing against me. That's a non-argument. Yeah, it's going to get really close, and then there's going to be a deal with Iran, man. Ludnick says 34 billion a month. That doesn't seem right. Where does he get 34 billion a month? No, if that's actually true, that's insane. The wait is over.
Well, look, this bill doesn't increase debt and deficits. We use an accurate baseline based on the real world. CBO and all of the independent watchdogs, that many of those, and we have agreed historically with much of the fiscal hawk's perspective, but the watchdogs, including Congressional Budget Office, are using an artificial baseline. They're assuming that spending will continue into eternity, but current law tax levels will not. So if you have a sunset from the 2017 tax relief that occurs, extending current law tax level and making adjustments based on what the president campaigned on looks like an enormous cost. And so that's not what anyone in the world looking at their spending levels and their revenue levels would actually believe to be a fair accounting. And as a result, when you adjust for that massive gimmick that CBO uses, this bill reduces deficits by $1.4 trillion. It has historic, let me repeat the word historic, levels of mandatory savings, $1.7 trillion, welfare reform, other changes to the social safety net that has become, honestly, a benefit hammock in the last several years. We haven't seen...
He's right. They're miscalculating the amount of economic activity we're going to have because of these tax cuts.
Do you remember your first theater production that you attended?
Well, a long time ago. I would say maybe it was Cats.
Cats. First Lady, do you remember your first theater production you saw?
Phantom of the Opera.
Are you a Libs fan, Mrs. Trump?
I am.
Great.
I am.
Are we going to be
bringing
munching on
a lot
some
of them
popcorn
right
and Diet Coke tonight while we watch the production?
I think so. I think so.
Man, Trump is really the ultimate leader. You know, I'm non-biased, but Trump is an amazing leader. Gold card bad, white immigrants only. Well, you have to understand. I mean, look at what Trump's doing with these deportations. He's getting all these people out. I don't know what you want from him. The gold card, they're trying to save. They're trying to bring the debt down. They're trying to bring the deficit down, so you have to give out the gold cards. But I didn't like the gold cards, you know, but the thing is I'll support it. But, you know, I said the gold cards were bad, but it's not, it's only like, how many people are really going to buy these gold cards? It's only rich people that can afford it. Loan relief for useless degrees, gender studies. Well, yeah, they've got a lot of those now, and kids are realizing it's a joke. They're paying, you know, they're getting 30 or 40K into debt, and the degrees they're getting, it's useless because everyone has degrees. All these kids have degrees, so they're fighting against each other. It's a bunch of average kids with degrees. I mean, good luck to it. And then they just cry and say, well, we want relief and we want student debt forgiveness. And no, I think it's bad. I think kids should structure it better to where you're not allowed to be predatory against 18-year-olds, and they're signing on to this stuff, and then they get 100K in student debt. Yeah, it's a problem. But they're going to have to redo the college system. How many gold cards will they even sell? 25K? Yeah, they said they sold 5K so far in the pre-sale. That's what Trump said. You're doing a non-argument. Why don't you address my point of a degree as an investment, and statistics show you get higher paying jobs with a degree. So the people that don't have a degree, they don't have that advantage in the workforce to get higher paying jobs, have to pay and subsidize for the people to get degrees so they can get higher paying jobs than the people without the degrees. Why don't you attack that point? But see, it's all this whataboutism.
It's been reported that some actors may be boycotting tonight.
I couldn't care less. Honestly, all I do is run the country well. The economic numbers, you saw them today, they're setting records. We took $88 billion in tariffs in 2 months.
That's insane. That's a new number they're saying. They're saying now $88 billion in 2 months. Trump has now confirmed they've brought in $44 billion per month. And Trump is probably not lying. Think about that. I mean, I'm going to have to do a video, and that's insane if that's true.
Beyond what anybody expected. There's no inflation. People are happy. People are wealthy. The country is getting back to strength again. That's what I care about. And we're going to have a safe country. We're not going to have what would have happened in Los Angeles. Remember, if I wasn't there, if I didn't act quickly on that, Los Angeles would be burning to the ground right now.
It's been reported that some actors.
Breaking, Iran said they're ready. Yeah, it's going to get really close. They'll have to do a deal, and this is how you force the deal, by pressure cooking it. This 3 guy isn't even American. Are you talking about the are you talking about the XP? The 3 guy? I don't hand out the XP. The XP hands out to people that comment. Student loan forgiveness for people who supposedly make more money is literally a tax on the poor. How is that fair? That's exactly right. All of your arguments are bad. America is paying $30 trillion in debt. Well, they're not. That's not how it works. They have a deficit of $2 trillion. You don't pay. We're not paying back anything. We have a deficit. Telling kids they need to pay back money in America is a scam when idiots who defend it are even worse. Yeah, again, it's a non-argument. You don't have an argument. People who get degrees have a competitive advantage in the workforce. They get higher paying jobs. They brag about it. So, and it's the exact point that he's making in his donation. But listen, we're just talking around each other because you're not addressing any actual point. You're saying, well, we have all this debt. Well, that's a different conversation. And we're going to have more debt if we want to forgive student loans as well. And then you want to bring in foreign military spending into this conversation, really? American identity is more important than reducing the deficit. I know, but you're nitpicking with a gold card. I mean, how many... my worry with the gold card is, the problem is, the only people that can afford the gold card are very rich, so they're going to have influence. And these people are very loyal to their countries. That's the issue. But it is a small amount of people. Most parents force their kids to go to school. No, I do agree with that. I do agree with that. Well, that's what needs to be reformed. I mean, there needs to be a better solution than kids going into debt. But again, that's not even the argument. The argument is that when you get a degree, you have a higher chance of getting a better job than somebody without a degree. So why should somebody without a degree in part subsidize somebody to get a degree so they could move up? I mean, they could take their own job. They could take their job. They could take the job of somebody without a degree because they have one, and it is an advantage in the workforce. And they argue that it's an advantage. People with degrees brag about it, and then in the same breath say that, oh, we shouldn't have all this student debt. Well, isn't it an advantage? You talk about how much money you make. But listen, I think the system is bad, and they shouldn't do it to kids. But this whole thing, it's like you're talking out of both sides of your mouth. All of these riots and plans to riot want to make me, you want Trump to run in 2028. Yeah, Trump does look very good, but it's not really all that. It's just not, it's not allowed.
Would you be willing to extend the deadline for trade talks with these countries?
I would, but I don't think we're going to have that necessity. We made a great deal with China. We're very happy with it. We have everything we need, and we're going to do very well with it, and hopefully they are too. That was a very big one. As you know, we did with the UK, and I tell you what, we're rocking in terms of deals. Now, at a certain point, we're just going to send letters out, and I think you understand that, saying this is the deal. You can take it or you can leave it. You don't have to use it. You don't have to shop in the United States, as I say. So at a certain point, we'll do that. We're not quite ready. We're dealing with quite a few countries.
Yeah, but so what is he saying? The tariffs are going to go back on?
And they all want to make a deal with us, every one of them.
Who's next? Who are you expecting to get a deal with next?
Well, we're dealing with Japan, we're dealing with South Korea, we're dealing with a lot of them. We're dealing with about 15 countries, but as you know, we have about 150 plus, and you can't do that. So we're going to be sending letters out in about a week and a half, 2 weeks, to countries, telling them what the deal is, like I did with EU.
Right. So, look, they're going to get these deals done maybe in a week and a half, they're saying. We'll have to see. Trump accounts for children $1,000 at birth, 7% growth rate, $5,400 after 25 years. What's the inflation on that, though? It's not guaranteed the gold card people will have influence, and it's not like there isn't rich people here with loyalty to other countries already. Yeah, I know, but you'd like to, ideally limit the amount of people that are here that are wealthy that have loyalty to other countries. And, the gold card, maybe it doesn't do a great job at it. But, I mean, you're trying to... With Trump, it's... There's a lot you can do. He's trying to leverage the United States and our success and our consumer base and people wanting to live in the country. But I mean, in terms of that card, I mean, what does it really get you? It just seems like it's just like a citizenship thing. There's got to be some other benefits if it's $5 million. It's not like we need deals with Vietnam, Mexico, Sri Lanka, India, Bangladesh. Well, I'd prefer a deal with India. Some of these countries, because there will be some influence on the inflation if a lot of these deals don't happen. It depends. Nobody really knows. You can only guesstimate. But I would prefer deals with the bigger countries like India. The smaller countries, yeah, if we only trade with them like 0.1, 0.2%, it's not going to have any effect, really. It's more so the bigger countries is the issue. It's basically $5 million to skip the line to become naturalized. I guess. I don't know. There's got to be some other benefits, you'd think. Devil's advocate, educated populace help society. But in your opinion, the loudest voices demanding student loan forgiveness aren't doctors or lawyers. Well, yeah, because they make all of it back if you're a doctor or a lawyer, because of the amount your salary. Plus, you got to understand what is the type of education you're getting. A lot of these kids, especially the women, that's why there's such a huge gap. The amount of women that go to college, and it's very liberal. All of these universities are very liberal. It's insane. You're talking about if most of the young populace, most of the young women, they go to college. And when you look at professors, 98% of them are liberal. What do you think is going to happen to the young women in their politics? They're going to be influenced. They're going to be influenced just by the campus setting of this, inclusiveness and the diversity and all of it into being more liberal. Are we on Iran watch? Yeah, this is like a pressure tactic to force a deal, I think. That would be my guess. But Trump can come out against a strike but it's going to be tough. You don't think, if there's a strike by Israel, I highly doubt that they would do so without the United States support. Yeah, the inflation's been lower. The inflation's in a good spot. What's with the liberal claim that black women are the most educated demographic in the country? We're... Yeah, I don't really... What is it because of the amount of college they go to? I think there's some other metrics you could show that's, very, Very likely false. Thank goodness we're in a constitutional republic. We need to act like it. Yeah, but it's a de facto. I mean, we elect representatives, and but core inflation tracked under 2% annual basis. Really? I thought it was 2.3. Musk should buy a bunch of gold cards for the South African refugees just to upset the left-wing lunatics even more. Could you imagine? That's another great with the Afrikaners. It's insane. You know, the reaction to those people, actual refugees, because they're white, and liberals couldn't stand it, and it was 70 of them or 60 of them, whatever.
A week ago, everything was peaceful in the city of Los Angeles and in all of the representatives behind me in their cities as well. Things began to be difficult on Friday when raids took place, and it's important that I begin there because that is the cause of the problems that have happened in the city of Los Angeles and other cities.
Well, the cause was actually poor leadership that let illegals into the country.
This was this was provoked by the White House. The reason why, we don't know. A week ago, everything was peaceful in the city of Los Angeles and in all of the representatives behind.
What about the reports of beef between Trump and Netanyahu? Would that impact anything regarding Iran? Yeah, I mean, if it was true, it would. But you know, it's unclear. I mean, there's been a lot of conflicting reports about Trump and Netanyahu. I mean, we do know we do know some things. I mean, look at the sanctions that Trump lifted off of Syria the first time in 50 years. The relationship Trump has with Saudi Arabia. You know, there's several things that have happened within the Middle East to where you think Trump is trying to detach, you know, military involvement from the United States, but it's hard to really say if any of that rift is real. A lot of problems would cease to exist if the liked party was ousted from the Israeli government. Yeah, well, they're talking about removing Netanyahu too in Israel because a lot of their citizens don't like him. Lori Lightfoot or Karen Bass, who's worse? That's a good one. That's a really good one. Yeah, but it's the same side of they're the same. ICE raids are just the government agency enforcing our lives. I know. Well, that's why I said. I mean, the reason there's these problems is because there's mass amounts of illegals in your county. Shouldn't you be worried about that? I guess not.
He has a responsibility in all of this. He started this. There should be no violence. He should not continue to support violence. They should not be edged on and, provoked in any way. And that's what the President of the United States is doing, to exert his power and to show that he's in charge and to show that he's going to get the numbers that he promised to get people deported. And so you know him. Everybody knows him. He has a responsibility in all of this.
It's a horrible reading from a teleprompter. Just terrible. Just a tough listen. Really, really tough listen. Yeah, I highly doubt that. They're really highlighting this bill still.
On just everything sort of we've seen so far with the president's response to the LA protests, there is criticism that seems to suggest that the president responded the way he did because it was a deliberate, calculated attempt to sort of shift focus away from his feud with Musk. How would you respond to that?
The president responded to the LA riots, condemning the violence
from Musk.
It's an incredibly disingenuous attack. The president saw images of Border Patrol and ICE agents being hailed with rocks and Molotov cocktails. He saw vehicles being burned to the ground with illegal aliens flying foreign flags, and that's what prompted the president to have this response that has clearly worked, because last night in Los Angeles, you didn't see many of those images. And I would add the governor and the mayor need to actually do more. I know Gavin Newsom had a big address to the nation last night. I guess he thought that's what it was for maybe his future political ambitions, but he spoke a lot of words. We haven't seen action. California has been a mess for years because of the incompetence of Gavin Newsom, so the president was responding to that only.
It's a good answer, and absolutely, I mean, they're trying to reframe it. Trump responded to the initial assault on ICE. He didn't call them in out of nowhere. And the local police don't help. That's the issue. That's the other problem. How many congressmen, congresswomen are drinking on the job or drunk while in D.C.? You sure there's a lot, to be honest? Yeah, I mean, with the amount of people in Congress, there's bound to be some. Well, we know one, Elon. He's not in Congress, but no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, Elon came out, and if you don't know, he apologized. He said he was sorry. He wishes he could have some things back. And so, like, it's just tough with Elon. She sleeps with a 60-year-old. Yeah, they have a huge gap in terms of their age. She's dating a 60-year-old, or she's married to a 60-year-old dude. You got to give him credit. Pelosi, raging alcoholic.
So if there were peaceful protests on Saturday for the militant parade, President Trump would allow that?
Of course the president supports peaceful protests. What a stupid question. Raquel.
So if there were peaceful...
Yeah, but where... Oh, it's on Saturday?
Protests on Saturday.
See, it is Saturday. Somebody told me it was the 15th. Wait, when is the... See, the thing is Thursday... It's the 14th is when it is. So it's all happening the 14th. Okay. It's on Saturday.
Since June 6th, there have been 330 illegal aliens that have been arrested as part of these riots in Los Angeles. 113 of those illegal aliens had prior criminal convictions. And overall, and this includes arrests of American citizens, there's been 157 people.
Men gain value as they age, women lose it. Of course. And they get pissy about it, too. That's why they get mad at the age gap relationships. They're built with all the value. And then as they get older, they start losing it, and then they bitch about it. Men are built with nothing. You have to build yourself up. That's just a common difference between men and women. And then they say it's like, oh, you're misogynist for saying it. I mean, that's just what it is.
People arrested for assault and obstruction-related charges, including the attempted murder of a police officer with a Molotov cocktail. So who is funding these illegal aliens who are coming in with this very professional riot gear? It's a question everyone in this room who cares about truth should be asking. And we encourage your help in trying to get to the bottom of that question. Since June 6th.
Would you fly to DC to check out the military parade in person and do a live stream vlog? Yeah, that's my big vlogging breakout. That'd be my breakout vlog. I'll go there. But you know those events have to be clusterfucks. I mean, use all these liberals and stuff. And what am I, a fucking reporter? Oh man, shit's going down with Iran. It's been said it's they're pressuring them to do a deal. Can you squat 500 pounds? No, I can't. I don't really squat much myself. The thing is I could probably bench press about 300. That'd be the most. USA Flag Day is June 14th as well. Imagine they're gonna burn a bunch of them in DC. Imagine they do that. That would be real bad. If the liberals did that. I mean, they already did it last year during those Palestine protests. Some men insist that isn't true. Really? They gotta be like male feminists. You think most men would agree with that? Are you gonna go vegan? I don't plan on it now. You're saying I can't lift a grape? Are you serious, dude? You know I used to work out for 2 straight years. I'll send you a super chat if you can bench 300. Huh. Burning a flag is a crime, right? No, it depends if it's your flag or if it's public property. If it's somebody else's property, it's a crime, yeah. But I think technically you can. Well, I don't know, man. I mean, if you burn a flag, isn't that public endangerment because you're creating a fire? How much do you weigh? Honestly, I weigh like at least like 155, maybe like 153 or 155. He should super chat 300 if you can bench press 300. What if I bench press 100 pounds? Guys, what if I bench press 150? Can I get like 1,000? Can I get 1 Bitcoin? Could I get 1 Bitcoin? Could I get 1 Ethereum? If you're under 1 Bitcoin, stay away from alts. Yeah, I'm way under, but all I do is invest into meme coins. It's actually I invested into Nasdaq, and so it's stable. What about height? 5'10". No, seriously, 5'10", but with shoes, 5'11". You need to do a whale super chat battle again to see who can super chat the most. Remember that? That was random when that happened. I don't even know who it was. The one dude just I haven't seen him again in another stream. The one dude donated me maybe $400 or $500 one stream because he was going against the whale in a super chat battle. Dude, this sounds no, this just sounds weird. Have you ever been to Alaska? No. Have you ever tried in the weight drops on you? No, normally I just did dumbbell presses when I would do that. So it really doesn't happen. buy the DeSantis boots so I become 6'2"? That would be great. Any updates? I mean, you know the updates, man. You've been giving me the updates. Come on. You know the updates. The Iran situation, these riots, this situation on Saturday. No, I didn't go to Ignatius, man. You think I went to like that private? No, I didn't go there, bro. Isn't that like a private high school? Hell no. What states do you want to visit the most? I mean, maybe the Great Plains. No, I mean realistically, I've been to a lot of the big states. I mean, I guess I haven't spent time in Texas, but I don't like the weather in Texas unless it's the winter. Do you see the JD Vance interview where he got pressed on Palantir? Yeah, I saw it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, what does Theo Von know about any of it? If Theo Von doesn't know anything, like, it's enough with these people. That's the thing. It's like Theo Von and Tim Dillon. Yeah, they're experts, all right. And then he tries to press Vance. You're a lightweight, dude. You don't know. You're a lightweight, brother. Are you going to see the new Mission Impossible? No, I don't think so. You know, what's that one movie, 28 Years Later? I'll go see that. That's a zombie movie. Texas is cool, too hot, in your opinion. Winter is super windy. They do get a lot of wind there. They get a lot of wind in that part of the country. They get a lot of those turbines up. A lot of turbine farms. JD Vance look a little shook. Yeah, because he can't explain the Palantir stuff, obviously, but Theo Von was controlled opposition. Yeah, well, Theo Von's trying to fit in with the right-wing people that hate Israel. And look, I mean, I don't like Israel, but, you know, I support Trump. Vance is a heavyweight without his Ozempic. No, it came out Vance didn't it was just works out. He doesn't do Ozempic. Vance was a big boy. And he was a never Trumper. And because he was fat and he was anti-Trump and he changed. Superman will be good. I never watched those movies. I mean, I watched the Spider-Man movies, the Batman movies. The new 28 Days Later looks good. Yeah, I think it's called 28 Years Later. They changed the name, you know, because you need a different name for it now. How tall is Vance? He looks taller than Trump. I'm starting to think Trump shrunk a lot. No, that's a liberal lie, but old people do shrink. I mean, Rogan said he shrunk, but Trump was 6'3", now he's about 6'2.5". Vance is about 6'4". Marco Rubio been a pleasant surprise so far. And we'll see with Rubio. Rubio's an Israel hawk, or I guess a Middle Eastern hawk. You know, he's pro-action in the Middle East. But listen, it's come out that they're trying not to do that. We'll see. I mean, with Rubio, it'll depend. It'll depend what he does. Visit Alberta from June 15th to June 17th for the G7. God, I wonder what that's like. It's got to be a ruckus of people. I mean, how many world leaders are going to be there for that? It's all the top NATO people. Tobey Maguire, the only valid Spider-Man. I mean, I like all of them, honestly. I don't. I enjoy them. I find the movies entertaining personally, just in general. They always compare them, I know. But yeah, you could say Garfield was a bit old for the role, but I like Andrew Garfield. I thought he was really good in The Social Network. Trump was legit 6'3", closer to 6'2" now. Barron wouldn't be 6'10" without those great genetics. Yeah. Well, Melania's taller too. So you get Trump who's taller, and then they're able to produce a kid that's, Barron is like 6'9", they say. We're still waiting for Barron to talk. I mean, I'd like to see Barron say something at some point. I'll have Barron on for an interview. But Barron needs to, you'd think he would have to do a podcast or something. Thoughts on Marvel movies? Never watched them, but you heard Black Panther was not good. Yeah, I don't watch that stuff. I actually I never got into the I have an odd taste in movies, I guess you could say, but I never got into the Avengers. I just never got into it. I don't, it's fine. People can like it, but I do like superhero movies if they're contained, like if it's just Batman and then he goes against someone. But if you got like 10 of them there, it's I can't really find it. I mean, Robert Downey Jr. is an amazing actor. I will say that he is. The liberal cope that their marriage is fake is funny because they had a kid together. Well, I mean, it's what it is. It's somebody that's rich that can get with a hot younger woman. That's how the world works. Who's your favorite actor? Well, I thought the best one of the. I mean, I'd have to think about it. McConaughey in Interstellar was amazing. Just role in general. Any good movies this summer? I don't know. Just that 28 Years Later, maybe. That's one that's a horror one. I go to the movies an okay amount. The trailers are just always so terrible. And you think, because the thing is when I was younger, there would be trailers and the music would be so good within I don't know. Has anyone liked the music within the trailers? I mean, some of the movie music, it's like a white person thing, but some of the music is good. But now it's like none of it's good. It's just all, I just don't. I'll go to these movies and then it's like every single trailer is bad. They'll show 6 trailers. They're all bad. They're all movies I wouldn't see. Do you like football, soccer in U.S.? So soccer, yeah, I don't really watch soccer, man. You got to do a debate with someone whose position was we shouldn't deport illegals that are just working and haven't committed any other crimes. Right, well, that's a pretty typical Democrat position. Breaking: LA County Sheriff reveals his office is being attacked every time they go. His officer is being attacked every time they go out by a range of different weapons, including bottles, rocks, fireworks, Molotov cocktails. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens with those protests. I mean, hopefully they die down. Will Smith was good before. Yeah, Will Smith was a good actor for sure. I mean, but then he went. Yeah, he got with that the bald woman, and it just. Trump is honestly going after 20 million unvetted immigrants. Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard the number was 17 to 22 million is what it is. So it's really bad, man. People don't really know. I got to do a video talking about that. That would be a big video. Talking about the issues that we've had with the immigration and just the amount of immigration. Because it is something that you don't see in any other country. We haven't had immigration like this in any other country. It's unique to the United States. What happened to that abandoned place you visited, the car club or whatever? Oh yeah. Dude, that was an interesting time for me. I remember that. That would have been the fall of 2022. That was right around the midterms, but I wasn't into politics at all. You know, I had a small channel. My channel was based on college football. But yeah, that place. I mean, dude, that time of year is just so amazing, and people. I mean, the sun sets at the perfect time because you don't have to deal with the clock change yet because it's like October. The high is like 68, the low is 48. It's always sunny, man. At least my area during the fall, it's always just really good temperature. We don't have a lot of precipitation in the fall, and that also allows the leaves to remain for a longer period of time. It's a great time, man. But then I mean, June has perks too, man. I mean, the amount of sunlight that you get in June and July is something that you should enjoy. Because, I mean, it is crazy, dude. I remember being out at like 6:30 in the morning, and then, when I was younger, you go out, because I went outside one time at like 5 in the morning, and it's like perfectly bright. And this is like, it's like mid-June. It's perfectly bright, and it's 5 in the morning. And then, I'm out till like 9:30, and it's still light out. It's pretty insane just how light it stays. There appears to be coordinated messaging campaigns spreading through TikTok where large critters have released nearly identical statements on ICE raids. Yeah, they're all paid. They're all paid, of course. Liberal TikTokers and stuff. I could never get into TikTok. I don't know. I know it's powerful. TikTok is. It influences a lot of young people. It is. Could never get into the short form stuff. As a creator or watching, I mean, the short form stuff, it's very addictive. I haven't had TikTok installed in years, though. I'm sure I would be addicted to it if I watched it or, but so it's just like, I don't see the point. Late May, early June is your favorite time of the year? Well, when I was growing up, it was the best time of the year, man. Early June. We would always get out. June 6th was the day I remember. It says right here since June 6th, but it's a coincidence. Yeah, we'd always get out like June 5th, June 6th from school. That was always the best time, was early June. And mid-August was always the worst time. You thought people were saying Ohio was D tier? No, people say it's like the 10th best out of the states. You remember the first time you woke up at like 4 a.m. and the sun was rising? I remember, I think I told this story, but it's probably like lost in the ether of the live streams. But I couldn't sleep one night. This was in between my junior and senior years, and I was working at this greenhouse growery place. It was secluded and stuff, and you set your own hours. I guess you just go and clock in. I mean, it was just like it was labor that really no kid would do nowadays, or it's just like you're getting paid $7, but. I mean, nowadays, I guess those type of kids go to Amazon and shit. They get $20, but I couldn't fall asleep at all. And I ended up going to I went to work at like 6 a.m. because I couldn't fall asleep. I remember like being on my iPad and the sun was rising. With me, it gets to a certain point, but I can never stay up all night, and I never would want to because it's fucking horrible for the next day. But that was probably like one of the only times outside of sleepovers where I stayed up the entire night. And then I was so fucking tired, I fell asleep in the shower. Which is better, sunset or sunrise? Well, a sunrise is a lot more peaceful. They're both peaceful, I'll say that. But a sunrise is there's very little activity. It's the sunrises. There's a rareness to them because everyone sees sunsets. We're all up, you know. When the sun sets, we're all up. It sets at like 7, 8, 9 o'clock, 9:30. Sunrise, it rises 5 a.m. It's very peaceful. It's a very peaceful time. Well, the sunrise is in the front and it sets in the back. That's how it goes. I wish it was the opposite because this room would be a lot more usable. This is, I guess, my office. If it worked the other way, because I wouldn't want to be dealing with the sun. What is the biggest Cali of the East? Pennsylvania, New York, or Virginia? There's really not one. There's no weather comparison, bro. There's no weather comparison to California on the East Coast. I mean, you ever gone backpacking? Like, no, I never done any of that. Like hardcore hiking, I've never done any of that. It's a shame someone stole your TikTok. Yeah, that was weird, man, honestly. Well, no, I mean, I still have an account, I think. I just can't access it. And then some dude just created a liberal one, I don't even know. You had a friend stay up for 5 days. That's going to damage you, man, if you stay up 5 straight days. That's an issue. You seriously suffer from damage. I remember watching a YouTube video about that. Somebody's trying to set the record for staying up. I don't know if it was like 20 days or whatever it was, but you're like, you damage your body by doing that. It's a big problem. You think he was meaning politically? Oh. Oh, I don't even know what it was asked. MSNBC anchor melts down over ICE spending tax dollars on ad to report illegals. Yeah, I don't know, man. They just don't want illegals to be deported. I mean, it's better for the Democrats to have more illegals in the country. Who wins the NBA Finals? Well, I think it's very obvious. It's going to be the Thunder. Yeah, I mean the Thunder are even favorites on the road. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander won MVP. Stephon Castle. What a terrible rookie class it was. Good for Evan Mobley. Hearing this, having stayed up this night. You stayed up last night, you're saying? What's your U.S. Open? Let me see. Maybe I go with DeChambeau again. Scotty Scheffler. Well, didn't he win the last major? Yeah, I think DeChambeau wins one. Do you support the U.S. defending Taiwan if China invades? It depends the setup. I mean, if it's a pay for play, then yeah, I would. I mean, I think Taiwan, with or without U.S., it's going to be hard to invade Taiwan. But preferably, I would like it to be a hard battle for them. I mean, it's tough because it's there is a distinct difference between Russia and China in terms of the threat level. China is obviously a bigger threat, so there would be more of an incentive to help Taiwan than Ukraine. China, you mean West Taiwan? But it's a joke. Yeah. What, you mean Chinese Taipei? No, I'm kidding. Bryson DeChambeau, what an incredible American name. Rory McIlroy, those are good odds for him. DeChambeau isn't winning at Oakmont, very thick roughs. Well, didn't they cut all the roughs I saw in a video? They cut a few. What happened to Taylor Swift? Did Trump ruin her career? No, I mean, you can't really ruin her career. She's already like a billionaire. But I mean, she still has just crazy fans that worship her, so it's like that's not going to change. Who would win in a fight? Me or two gorillas? Dude, I don't understand how they would say a gorilla would beat 100 men. That doesn't make much sense to me. If it's all the men at the same time, I mean, at a certain point, the gorilla is getting tired. So I don't really see that, man. There's SPX 6900. This is a coin that I used to have. It's good to see. I like SPX. I hope it does really well. Where's Nasdaq? Book of Ethereum. Yeah, I did see Roman Anthony's sister. I saw that. Even if it's one man at a time, the gorilla would still lose. I know, it's due to the gorilla getting tired. Odds Elon returns to Doge. That's not gonna happen, man. Not with his crash out. I mean, him and Trump are repairing their relationship. That's great. That's good for them. But it's like you got to be careful with Elon with this. I mean, he's unpredictable. Taylor Swift is mad that Travis Kelce has not proposed to her yet. He's getting cold feet. Seems like she is kind of behind the scene, kind of crazy behind the scenes. Yeah. Well, I think he was going to do it at the Super Bowl, then they lost. I don't know. I mean, how long have they been together? She probably is expecting it. He's non-committal. It's a typical story. I thought he already proposed, but I don't keep up on that. Taylor Swift worship is odd. You've seen many girls who would literally do whatever she talked about in her songs. Yeah, no, it is, but you see stuff like that form. It's people just become attached. So, especially young, personable girls, it's Zuckerberg versus Elon. Who wins in their fight? Well, it came out that Musk was training a lot. Zuckerberg got nervous and then backed out and said he had an injury. That's what I read. Musk is, I think, in a lot better shape now. Remember they got that photo of Musk and he looked like he was really bloated. But I think he's in better shape. He's been on TRT. Musk is chubby. Zuckerberg would beat him, not gonna lie. Then why did Zuckerberg back out with a fake injury? Isn't Taylor Swift's whole schnick singing about failed relationships? Yeah, I don't know. With the women, I don't even know. It's some bullshit with heartbreaks and bullshit like that. I don't know. I mean, something about like heartbreaks and shit. So yeah, you're right. What's your viewpoint on the Ukraine-Russia war? What, in terms of U.S. involvement or the principle of Russia invading Ukraine? I mean, in terms of U.S. involvement, it's I mean, I think there should have been a hard line against U.S. help because I mean it's a complicated thing, but you know we don't want to alienate ourselves against Russia, and you do that, and we're really walking a tightrope because then you push Russia closer to China, and it becomes an issue. I mean, it's a territorial claim. They previously had control of that country, and then there was NATO involvement, which helped turn the country to the West. So you can understand what Russia is saying. I mean, look, I don't think it's a good thing to invade countries. Yes, I support the invasion of Greenland because that's for Greenland's protection. And so it's different. You see, but I mean, look, countries, they're going to be invaded. I don't know what people want. It's like, yes, they controlled this area. They're going to invade it. I don't know. They previously had it. What do you want me to do? Stop them? Why don't you go stop them? Why don't liberals go and fight them? I mean, like, what do you want us to say? Russia is a big country. That was part of their country. They want it back. Elon was on track to be a trillionaire. Now yeah, I think he's still first, isn't he, in terms of net worth? Is he seriously not anymore? I thought it was. Well, you know what? It's because of Tesla. Most of his value is tied to Tesla stock. So if Tesla stock is at an all-time high, his value is going to be, his net worth is going to be high. Why do men do TRT when they could just go to the gym? You're too young, that's why. Because they need it. They need testosterone when you get older. With the gym as well. Trump invading Greenland would be economically beneficial for all parties. Yeah, and you try and explain it to these people and they just won't listen. That's why I said it helped them, and we want to help them. So we do land invasions to help the countries. We're invading you to help you. No, but you can argue that. Do you own a car? Yeah, I do. I'm trying to get a new car, actually. I'm trying to get a new car. Elon's at 490 billion. Oh, so he'll get to a trillion then. He's halfway to a trillion. Would you ever get an Elon car, a Tesla? Now, I think Teslas are too. The sedans are very large. They look like humpback whales. So I'm not buying. I mean, Teslas, they got great interiors. They're beautiful vehicles. That's fine. I don't know about the electric stuff, and then you got to charge it and things like that. It's like they're like, oh, you got to charge it every night. Well, it's kind of a pain in the ass, honestly. I'm sorry. How long does it hold a charge? Does it hold a charge for like 5 days, or do you have to charge it every night? Elon Musk says Vladimir Putin is significantly richer. Yeah, well, Putin controls a lot of the wealth within Russia, and that's how it works. Wasn't the dude who did the second assassination attempt on Trump wanting to go to Ukraine? Yeah, he's like a Ukraine nut. Well, he was like recruiting people to fight for Ukraine. He was recruiting people, and then he tried killing Trump through the bushes at his golf course. Tesla suck for road trips? I can only imagine. How many times do you have to charge that? No, all's on the interior is a fucking iPad. Yeah, and a Tesla. Electrics are nice for high traffic cities, but you hear that's about it. Yeah, I mean that's why you always see them. I mean, there's a ton of them in more high end, highly densely populated cities. Even the first kid who tried to assassinate Trump was in a BlackRock commercial. We still don't know the first thing about him. Yeah, that's a real messed up. I mean, obviously that kid had help, and they're already trying to say no, he didn't. Did you hear what Bongino said? He said no. He talked about crooks, and he said, "I would tell you if there was anything." It's like, dude, come on. Kai Trump has a Cybertruck. Not even sure how. She's like 17. Yeah, Musk gave it to her as a gift. What's going on with Iran? Well, let me give you the breakdown. They're pressuring Iran to agree to a deal, and so they have to, do some strategic movements to pressure them, and so there's pressure being put on Iran. They're going to come to an agreement on a nuclear deal. And so now they're starting the fear mongering, and the liberals are getting ready to do a victory lap, but I think there's going to be a deal. Liberals are trying to do this victory lap on Trump and say he started another war. But it's a negotiation ploy. Thoughts on Walt Disney World? I never been there. I never been to Disney. I never got the obsession with Disney, but I don't think I'm the targeted demographic for that. Tesla recommends plugging in your car every evening to top off the battery. For most EV drivers, 2 to 3 times a week is often enough. I mean, I guess if it's at your house, it's kind of like charging your phone to a degree. So, I mean, yeah, I can understand why they think it's fine if it's at your house. Cash was saying the same thing on Rogan. Trust me, if it was there, we'd give it to you. Yeah, Cash Patel got the talking. He got talked to, and he shut up real quick. That's the problem. That's the issue. Would you make videos on the World Wars? World War II, probably. World War I's really interesting as well. I've been doing a lot more. I learned a bit about World War One back in like January. I wanted to learn more about it. But specifically World War One and the armistice and the Treaty of Versailles and all of it impacting World War II. And so, I don't know, I was thinking about doing a video talking about, I mean, it's like, it's been beaten to death. The topic's been beaten to death, World War II. But, I used to be really into World War II. Like, if I would have had a YouTube channel when I was like 17 or 18, it'd be a lot of World War II videos, I'm sure. Because I was into it when I was in high school. But it's been more, I haven't been into it as much, recently. First assassination attempt is actively being tried. Yeah, covered up. Yeah, it has to be covered up. I mean, how else would that kid have access like that to where they would allow it, where he's got a viewfinder and it gets reported, but they don't do anything about it? I mean, it's crazy. Did you know Franklin Roosevelt got elected in part because Hitler had fixed Germany? This was before the Jew stuff. Well, yeah, I mean, there was definitely There was definitely a sense of revival for Germany in the 1930s. You know, they hosted the Olympics in 36. They also hosted the Winter Olympics. When did they host the Winter Olympics in like German? I don't know. The city starts with a P. I can't pronounce it. But I remember they hosted the Winter Olympics and the Summer Olympics. Would have been 38. Did they host the Winter Olympics in 38 or 34? Is one of those 2 years. They hosted the Summer Olympics in 36 in that old Olympic stadium. Then they were going to build a new stadium, and they got the foundation done. That's it. China had signs that non-ethnic Chinese foreigners not allowed in certain establishments during COVID, and libs call America racist. I know it's a whole nother level in the East. It's a whole nother level. I mean, oh my goodness, they would be like, they would lose their mind. Now, could you imagine that happening in the United States? It really is crazy to see how it's degraded in the U.S. and how not only has it degraded, but on top of that, they still get to call us racist. Nowhere else in the world have we seen immigration like we've seen in the United States. Nowhere else. And they still call us racist. Like, what is the fear mongering? Like, if you put it into context, it's like, I don't even know how it's possible. Dude, I don't think that's true about Mossad. Like, what's the point? Like, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to really say, but you've got all these people saying, no, Trump is like pro-Israel. It's better that Trump got in for them and the donations. Or, you know, I don't think so. The sloped roof thing is such an obvious lie that it was debunked in the first day. Yeah, I know. I don't know what they were thinking by even saying that. Zoomer historian, I mean, there's a lot. So some of the stuff is fine, I guess. There's a lot of revisionist stuff that's in those videos. You buying any XRP? I'm buying based XRP on base chain. No, I'm just kidding. But I'm buying based XPS 6900. Literally all of Africa and Asia is racist. Try being white in the DRC. Try being black in China. Much more extreme. Well, you know what's going on with China now with their Belt and Road. They're taking all the cobalt from the DRC. Think about how racist would we be if we did that? I mean, they control. Isn't it crazy how they control the cobalt supply? And is there any cobalt even in China? They control the supply of it because of their initiative. Thoughts on Mel Kiper? Yeah, he really cooked his credibility with the Shador Sanders love. This is really odd. He was paid, I think, by the Sanders people or whatever. It's just strange obsession. Load some fart coin. I mean, fart coin is doing crazy. The thing is, I really don't have Solana coins. The other problem with these Solana coins is they're all like brand new when you go to this, because the transactions are just insane for the newer ones. You can't really find the ones. I guess I could go to this, just market cap. Oh, Fartcoin is lower in terms of market cap than SPX. SPX is at 1.5, I think. It is crazy. Like, guys, where are you going to find... You're not going to find this on the stock market. You're not going to find something like this on the stock market. It's not possible. Like, even loading into Fartcoin at 240 million, you've already got like a 6x. It's just a savage fucking thing, cryptocurrency. It really is. It's savage. Opinions on Charlie Kirk Matt Walsh, Jack Posobiec switching sides after being for immigration for the past decade. Canceling others that weren't. Jared Taylor, Nick Fuentes. Yeah, I mean, I saw that. It was very strange because they all put out the same tweet. I mean, I feel like that was I feel like they were waiting for it. They were looking to pivot. It seemed like Walsh has been pivoted for a while. Walsh is, to be fair to Walsh, he's been hardcore for like more hardcore than a lot of the right on some of these issues. Kirk certainly has pivoted 100%. Posobiec has always kind of been, he's more of a Twitter personality to me than anything else. Well, dude, did you see in those videos, like, you defend all this invasion because Germany had, like, they had some of the land, but you have to understand, in Europe, invading anywhere is, like, extremely, just because of the way those countries are in nature and how close proximity they are. Like, those are all different fucking countries in Europe, and they're all so close to each other. It's like, the remilitarizing the Rhineland, okay. Annexing Austria, well, annexing 1/3 of Czechoslovakia, invading all of Czechoslovakia, invading Poland. I mean, at a certain point, it is appeasement. Like you can kind of see what Germany is doing here. But then it's like, well, they have the right to do all of that. Well, I mean, there's going to be some pushback if you do that. You have to understand. And that's what you got to manage if you're Hitler. Imagine the MAGA baby GoFund goes to Fartcoin instead of the 25-year growth. The kid will be a millionaire. Yeah, but you have to... No, dude, honestly, they should put it into Bitcoin. Put it into Bitcoin. Imagine. Oh, that would be awesome. The $1,000 goes into Bitcoin. And then in 25... Dude, that would actually be... You would probably get... See, the thing is with Bitcoin, like... You look at Bitcoin, it's... The market cap is around, what, 2.3, 2.2 trillion? Gold's market cap is 22 trillion. So it's 10x and it's at gold. And then, who knows what Bitcoin does, but I think it's got like a 30x in it, honestly. I think it could 30x. It's going to take decades, but like Bitcoin is being adopted as digital gold by governments. Legitimately. Matt Walsh is very dull. I always thought Walsh looked like a weirdo. I get a weird feeling with him. I don't know what it is. But he's definitely gone more right wing for sure. They were arguing for it, not even you think Walsh was arguing for a third world democrat? I don't think so. There's no way Walsh was arguing for that. I mean, maybe years ago he was, but not a week ago. Kirk, I'll agree, has made a bigger shift. Did you see the Islamophobe stuff in the UK? Yeah, dude, it's like, it is. I mean, you just want to be able to say, like, and the problem is, like, that seriously, I think that seriously, I mean, I'm not there, so I don't know exactly how bad it is, but that seems like a real issue. And then if you speak out against it, they just say you're pro-Israel. But that's a real issue that they're having. Yeah, but when you're dealing with a war on the interior of Europe, there's going to be a snowball effect. I mean, if Britain and France, they didn't like the German aggression, but a lot of it also was the fascism and communism. They're not compatible. They do have a lot of similarities because of the horseshoe when they're authoritarian, but. If it was just Nazi Germany against the Soviet Union, you could argue you could contain it, but even that, the U.S. was by proxy helping the Soviets even before they actually went landed on Europe. A lot of the mainstream conservatives were like pro Indians undercutting our wages 2 weeks ago. Well, that's the Musk wing, I think. Musk is still pro that. I mean, that's H-1B. Yeah, I think the MAGA wing was against H-1B from what I remember. The Musk wing, which mainly are people not even in the U.S., was for the H-1Bs. But I think Musk has really lost any type of muster in terms of like going against Trump for something or going against the MAGA base after this spat that he had. I mean, you know, he can still be the rich, but it's like, dude, it's like the boy who cried wolf. Nobody, you know, you're not going to be taken seriously. You do stuff like this and then you apologize 2 days later. You got new tires at Walmart today. One of the techs was a 50-year-old Latino woman who was confused about everything. Wow, you got new tires at Walmart. I remember getting new tires a while ago. You know, Costco is really good with that. You know, Costco, it's a membership, so it's a little bit better. But even the Costco now, dude, I don't even know. Costco just rakes in so much money. My local Costco, you can't go into it. You go in it, they open at like 10 a.m. You can't. There's a line to get into it. You think it's Black Friday at 9:30, 9:45 in the morning for people to get in. There's a line to get into Costco. You know, it didn't used to be like that when I was younger. We would go to Costco once a month. There's a line to get into Costco. It's real bad. I can't go to Costco. There's too many people. There's too many people. But you know, they have a good tire service. Costco does. I had a tire treated by them. I ran over a nail and they patched it up and it cost me $10. Would you agree that California is basically Mexico North? No, it's not Mexico. I mean, certainly there's a lot of Latinos there. I mean, you could say cities, yes, but overall, I mean, there's conservative areas. It's a big state. It's a huge state. I mean, I guess it depends what you know, define. But I do agree. I mean, I was looking and, you know, their population around 40% Latino. It's like 34% Caucasian. It's pretty crazy. Costco stock is awesome. I mean, dude, they have to be raking in money. Costco is for normies. Sam's Club is where it's at. Yeah, Sam's Club is probably better in terms of just the. We don't really have a Sam's Club near us. Maybe a little bit. It's a little bit more of a drive. Speed and the whole genre of streaming. Yeah, that stuff. That streaming stuff is. I mean, I'm streaming right now, but I know what you're talking about with like the Aiden Ross type stuff. I don't even get it. Like, what's the well? I'm not the target audience. It's younger kids. MAGA is not a cult, but you can't go against Trump the way Musk did. Yeah, I mean, Musk, what he did in insinuating. That's the thing is they say, well, you don't criticize Trump. I mean, I criticize Trump with crypto. If he does something with Iran, I'll criticize him because you just can't have that. But no, I mean, what Musk did was really bad. I mean, you're insinuating he's in the Epstein files. Now it makes Trump look bad. We know Trump didn't do anything because liberals would have gotten him on it. So now we have to go over this again. Hassan and I Show Speed are terrible people, and Kai Cenat. Yeah, I don't know about those. That's just like, I guess they're streamer personalities, and yeah, I don't know about it, man. People like him, I guess. Well, Hassan is like a pro. He's like pro Palestine. He wants to go to the Middle East. He wants to fight for them, and it's a strange thing. Nick Shirley is live in New York protests right now. Yeah, I saw he was getting harassed a few days ago. They were like, "This is my land." Is this land whale? This is our land. This is Mexico's land. They're trying to argue it's Mexico's land. For 27 years, this was our land. Okay. God damn it. Oh, damn it. Damn it, damn it, damn it. Jenna Marbles. I never watched that. I watched some OG YouTube. I like the longer form YouTube stuff. It'd be great to see that come back. But now the longer form stuff is all streaming. It's all streaming content. Are the Marines really about to take action, as the news clickbait titles say? I don't know, man. I mean, they'll take action if a protester does something really stupid. God, this shit is useless. Give me a video or something. Oh, there you go. Oh, that's in San Antonio. Long form is on the rise. Yeah, I agree. Leafius here is unbanned. I saw that. I'm surprised they kept him banned. It seemed like they allowed everyone to come back, but ideal date for a girl. Dude, I could tell. I'm not gonna say, but like a black pill story. I'm not gonna say anything. Get honest on Andrew Tate. I mean, Andrew Tate's and nobody really knows what happened with Andrew Tate and the stuff with him being charged. I don't know, man. I really don't. I mean, Andrew Tate said a lot of things that were right about male-female dynamics, and so a lot of people got angry about it. He exposed a lot about women, and they got real mad. Now, I don't know about this other stuff. They're trying to discredit him, whatever. I don't agree with, like, you should fuck all these women and stuff. I just don't think it's degeneracy, but I mean, you can't deny a lot of rich guys when they get successful. Yeah, they have many partners. But I don't think that's something that you should do, but remember when immigrants had to go through Ellis Island in New Jersey and Angel Island in San Francisco? Immigration was always vetted. Oh, of course. I mean, that's why they're called illegal. It still is vetted. It's just they do it illegally. Heard your date story about... No, it's not even a date story. It's just about this. No. Why do Democrats want illegals? Because they want the votes. They want the electoral power. They get... Go look at my tweet. Go look at my tweet. I even asked the AI, and the AI confirmed it. Electoral votes are appointed based on total population, not citizenship status. Means undocumented immigrants do contribute to how many congressional seats, therefore electoral votes. I mean, California's got at least too many electoral votes because of illegals. Let's be honest. Are there any other countries we should add to the ban list? Well, third world countries. Isn't that what Trump said? There's no third world immigration? Because that's what Charlie Kirk said. Did you ever take a trip to DC for a field trip from school? Yeah, I did. In 8th grade, you take that trip. That was a good trip. I remember that trip. That was a good trip, actually, for me. Have you heard of these Inspirational YouTube channels that are spread wokeness feel like they're corrupting the young with wokeness. Inspiration? No, I never heard of that. Inspirational YouTube channels spreading liberal woke stuff. I don't know. I've seen some liberal channels that just hate on Trump, but I never seen that. Three-hour stream. I made it to 3 hours. Look, I'm fine with doing like a 5-hour stream if there's something to cover, to where I can retain viewership and all that. You know, I'd be fine with doing that. But I don't know. Maybe there will be something to cover on Saturday. We'll have to see if these protests. I mean, I hope they're not bad, but should India be added to the ban list? It needs, the immigration needs to be paused everywhere. It needs to be banned everywhere. She's a 10, but she has some wrist tattoos. What does she know? I mean, how small are the tattoos? I don't know. In general, the tattoos, it's a red flag already. To me, it shows your priorities. It's like, we don't need the tattoos. It shows what kind of a girl it is. I mean, especially wrist tattoos, that's in your face. That's, you need, think these women, you think that all these women, they're career oriented, yet they have all these fucking tattoos. Who's gonna hire you? Saturday, 6:14, you should do a 3+ hour stream since there's going to be a lot going on. Hopefully good stuff. Yeah, no, I think there is going to be a ton going on with the military parade. But the military parade's happening during the day, so I'd have to maybe go live during the day, but then I'd have to sacrifice the videos. I wouldn't be able to make as many videos. She's a 5, but she's a Trump supporter. Worth it. I would like apolitical, mainly. Apolitical, more conservative, but she doesn't care about politics, ideally. You know, I don't need an aggressive Trump supporter. Mainly, she's like, I don't care about politics, you know, but more conservative base of viewpoint. Thoughts on Mr. Beast? You know, his content is just polluting young. I mean, Mr. Beast is fine, whatever, but I mean, his content's for like 5-year-olds, and he has like 100 cuts in his videos. You know, I'm not the viewership demographic for him, but you know, and then, you know, there is something really evil about what he says. He says he reinvests all of his money. Bitch, no, you don't. Just stop lying. Like, I hate when people dude, you're very rich. Congratulations. Stop saying you have like no money in your bank account. It's like, okay, dude, you have no money in your bank account. You've got all your money in like the fucking, in bonds and stocks. That's your net worth. It's not like that money's going to go anywhere. It's only going to, you know, go up in terms of value. So I think doing the whole pandering about how, no, I actually have no money, it's just like pathetic. Just drop the act. And then you do the partnership with, you know, KSI and Logan Paul to sell this bullshit like crackers and cheese. It's like, come on. Thoughts on the ABC reporter getting fired? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the reporter said something about Stephen Miller. That's all I saw. Any school story videos you would make? I'd have to think about that. I'd have to go back and think about a story to do a video on or something. Lunchly sucks ass too. Well, it's just pandering to kids. It's fucking crackers and cheese. Like, dude, really? Whatever happened to the Hawk Tuah girl? Well, she had that meme coin launch, the failed meme coin launch. You know, to a degree, you have to feel bad for her. That chick knows nothing about anything as it relates to ownership percentage, supply, lock. I mean, she basically, people came to her that were scammers and they told her, we can do this. You're going to make this amount of money guaranteed as long as we use your influence. And she agreed. And, you know, it went very badly. Surprised the Trump stumble on the plane stairs didn't get much coverage. You would think they would scream. Yeah, well, they tried to like scream about it, but the problem is it's so it's like such a millisecond. Nobody's really going to. If there was no news, they would do it, but then there were the riots and all that stuff, so it kind of got pushed back immediately in terms of like important news. Talk about Greta Thunberg being kidnapped. I mean, you know, it was a publicity stunt. It's a publicity stunt. Israel just said, "Go home, bitch." I mean, that's basically it. And it was kind of pathetic. You have to find a girl that doesn't care about politics, basically. Yeah, that's a good suggestion. That's probably what you should look for. Are you releasing early predictions for the NFL? I don't know. I know I did for college football. That was more of like an itch I wanted to scratch with that, so I decided to do it. Normally, I don't do that. That was just a video I wanted to make because I thought. I mean, I was gonna have to make those, format those anyways, just in 2 months. So I might as well just do it anyways and release early predictions. I'm gonna. The 2026 Olympics are in Italy, and then the Summer Olympics are in LA. Which one do you think will have more protests? Yeah, I like the Winter Olympics because they're always in more rare. You remember the ones in Sochi? What was 2014 was in Sochi. Wasn't one of them in Pyongyang? Or no, South Korea, right? Yeah, it was in South Korea, I think. But they're always in interesting places. The Summer Olympics now, it's such a huge spectacle. You have to have stadiums for it. So the Summer Olympics are always going to be in huge cities. Because they'll never build up the infrastructure in smaller cities for summer. But the Winter Olympics, you can do it. Can you do some episodes where you comment on certain subreddits like R Los Angeles? I've seen videos where people do that. I mean, there's a lot of content there just because of how crazy these people are. I don't know. Elon called Trump on the phone to apologize. Yeah, I saw that. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this live stream. I'm going to go ahead and end it there. People should do their research and find out that other countries deport illegals. Oh, absolutely. There needs to be a video done explaining all this. I might put out a video talking about immigration in the United States. Video, why we want zero immigration. And this is all explainable. And it's not, oh, you're racist. It's not even that. It's just, I mean, we have been hammered with immigration, and now we've got 20 million illegals. It only justifies it even more. Bring back the car vlogs. You always say that, man. And I hear you, man. I mean, those are fun videos, but maybe in the DG2. Maybe in the DG2. All right, guys. I'll be seeing you.